What's up, everyone? This is Dalton at Daltonian95 coming with another one of these live videos. As you can see by the title, we're talking about Transformers 1 spoilers, discussing our opinions of the movie, and there's going to be a kind of tier list ranking that we're going to do. So I've got that all set up. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves, starting with you, Alan.
Alan, or Werewolf Finder here on YouTube, or Werewolf Finder Gaming. Also, Alan Ware on Instagram. Just for the people who are just joining us and the new guy here. I am your very casual Transformers. I'm not in deep as the lore, but I am more knowledgeable. Like, I'm your best C to B grade person. More modern and more movie inspired.
No, I'm Rick. You can find me on Instagram as Shattered Glass Jazz. Also on Twitter, but just not as much. I've been into Transformers since day one in '84 when the cartoon came on and the toys hit the shelves. I think I followed all the animated things, all the movies, and all the comics. So I'm pretty deep, but I collect a lot of other stuff like G.I. Joe and Hot Toys and Star Wars and Motu and a lot of things 80s.
There's a Darth Vader right above your head.
Yeah.
Alan, you should see some of the stuff this dude's got in his collection. Like, it is insane.
Like, I got a pretty good eye. I'm already spawning. Like, I already see Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, G.I. Joe, Star Wars. Oh God, I'm trying to look in the upper right hand corner, but I can't see it that well.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of Hot Toys.
Yeah, I just realized he has a Batmobile over his shoulder, but then again, it's a solid black car on a solid black table. It's blending in. Oh, I get a solid black shirt. it's camouflaging.
Wasn't that the sail barge that used to be in that spot?
It could have been at some point. It's in another spot now. It's further up on the other side of the room. I've got all the G1 Transformers up. I don't have space to put up everything, but I've got like 84 through maybe 90 up, including a lot of the Japanese stuff.
Nice.
Like Dino King and Leo Kaiser and all the Victory stuff. Victory is kind of like where I dwell. That's like, if I had to choose one, I'd choose Victory. And I've got Unicron up. Who doesn't? You kind of have to have Unicron up. And
that has a lot of Unicron as my centerpiece right now.
Yeah. Do you keep him in beach ball mode? I mean, I keep him in planet mode.
I've got him in robot mode. He's clutching Megatron and the Super 7 reaction Megatron in his hand.
Yeah.
Mine's my desk buddy.
I need to get new batteries for his eyes because I got that 3D printed light up eyes set. I need to get switch out the batteries.
I was just looking at that upgrade myself too, because I got the light up eyes for Tidal Wave.
That Tidal Wave's amazing. Have you gotten it, Rick?
Oh yeah, I love the Tidal Wave. I like Armada in general, like the fact that they've been doing Armada. It's funny because in retrospect, if you had asked me back then, what was that, like 2002, 3, somewhere in there, right?
03, I think.
If you had asked me back then, would I have some kind of nostalgia for that? I would have probably said no. But now, just looking back, I think it's more about the hand feel part of the toys and how chunky they were. But it was kind of a return to things that I recognized. You know, I loved Beast Wars and great story, but can't find a better story. But when Armada happened, I got back into the toys in a big way. So Tidal Wave, yeah, I thought he was like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's really, honestly how I feel. I still need to record a review on that thing. I just need to figure out the space for it, like where I'm going to review it at.
Yeah, the Titans have taken over. They're like on the floor below the shelf. I actually had the bottom shelves in this room built per specifications of 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches larger than Fort Max and Omega Supreme, I think, at the time in Metroplex. I just based it off of the Titans' height so that they could all fit under it. But now it's full. I have a Hulkbuster that takes up one of the spots, but the rest
God.
Yeah.
Well, and soon, if the rumors are true, you might have a Star Convoy under there.
Yeah, I heard a few people talking about that and Grandis of all things.
I want a new Metroplex because I'm still not happy with the Thrilling 31. It is severely outdated as far as like the design philosophy and like just tolerances.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, I mean, like it came out 2013.
12 years, or it's going to be 12 years old.
Do you guys remember? I don't know if you guys were at that BotCon, but I remember there was like a big batch of them at whatever BotCon that was. If it was 2013, I guess you guys were saying, but
it might have been 14 or 15 because that's when they were going on sale like crazy at Costco for like $50.
It was the batch that they had on the floor, as far as I know, was the first time anybody had seen them, and people were going nuts. I think
it might have been 13. My first one was 14.
Had them, but I do remember that.
Well, and this year at the one in Rhode Island, or not Rhode Island, Fort Wayne, there was a ton of Metroplexes and Nemesises.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. I mean, I've got that. Or not is the Cybertron Metroplex.
Yeah. I ended up.
I've got that one. I actually really like that figure.
Yeah, I had to get it. I'd said no at first, but eventually the ones I say no to, if I can get them for half price, and which is what I did, I got him.
Yeah, I skipped on the Nemesis and the Ark. It was just, I want just the ships. Like I don't need them to transform.
I agree. In retrospect, I wouldn't have bought the Ark. I have the Ark, but I didn't buy Nemesis. But I do agree with you. In retrospect, I wouldn't have bought the Ark.
The only transforming Ark I want is animated Omega Supreme.
I'm okay with a Dio parts of the Ark. Like if they did an A and a B set and it was just a Dio, even if it only fit the Magic Square, which I'm picking up now, or even
there's that brick built one that New Age did.
Yeah, I've seen that. But that's how I would want it. In retrospect, I wish I hadn't bought that because it's the only one I don't have. I have it in Ark mode. It's the only one that's not in robot mode.
But so I guess I'm Dog. You can find me over at Daltinian95. I keep saying I want to stream on Twitch, but I never get around to it. But you can find me there as DaltWolf95. So there's that. And how about what we got this week? Starting with you, Alan.
Oh goody! I found what's it called? The Star Raiders motorcycle.
Oh, Road Pig.
Yeah, I actually found him out in the wild. Surprisingly enough, I picked them up. What else did I get? I also found the early wave of Core Class at my Target. So I got the other rock tricycle. Whatever their name is, the one that's supposed to, instead of being like red and brown, it's more purplish.
Yeah, like tan and purple.
Yeah,
the Geo something.
Yeah.
I got one last week. I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of his name.
And I also got what is it? I don't know what it is, but I won't be here in enough time for this interview. I think it comes in tomorrow. But I got the last comic book set is on its way.
Oh, Flame and Emerald Zeron?
Yeah.
I still need to get all those. I had to cancel all of them.
Oh, I didn't even get a chance to cancel them before I knew it was like, hey, thank you for the payment. It's already on its way. Like, all right.
Yeah. I experienced that last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, feel my pain. What did I get? Anything else? Because it's not. Oh my goodness, what else? I don't think. I think that's it for Transformers wise. I already said I got Swoop. Steeljaw is on the way too because I finally pressed the ship. I finally pressed the ship button on my of my pile of loot on Big Bad Toy Store. So that also means Steeljaw, and I also get Masterpiece Bumblebee Optimus Prime's coming in. because I'm swapping most of my. If I have a studio series that has a masterpiece, I'm just going to try to just one up to studios to masterpiece because I am starting to run out of space.
That's fair.
I hear that. Space is a commodity.
Yeah. Oh God, what else? Did I get anything else? I don't think I did. Because it's been fairly light recently. No, I think that's about it. Outside from I got the light upgrade for Tidal Wave's eyes. Yeah, I think that's it for right now.
All right, what about you, Rick?
God, I do not have a list in front of me, but this week's been.
Oh no.
So it's been crazy. You know, from Cybercast, I do a lot. I can tell you things that came in like Transformers wise.
Yeah, let's keep to that or on topic.
Yeah, I can do that. So I went nuts like maybe 3 weeks ago. Whenever I saw the movie, I definitely got bit. I was a little bit bit before because I've been reading the Skybound comics and loving them.
Mm-hmm. I need to get those. I haven't gotten any of them yet.
Like the stuff that IDW was doing with James Roberts, The More Than Meets the Eye, and so those things from way back. I was really into it then, but this is the first time since then that I've been into the stories and the comics as much, and I really like it. So I was buzzing a little bit before, and then I saw the movie. So anyway, somehow in my brain, I've decided that I'm going to do Magic Square 2 to 4 years after it was popular. So, and the reason was I realized I don't have a Bruticus that I like. I've had some of the third-party big ones years ago, and they're gone now. I got rid of them. And Combiner Wars doesn't really do it for me anymore. I don't feel like it's aged well for me.
It hasn't even. It aged like milk.
Yeah, really. So the Stunticon set that came out, a few years back, and then they did the nice little toy box set. I love that set. I would give that set like a 9 out of 10. I really like it. So I felt pretty good about those guys. But like I said, just Bruticus. I like the merge groups a lot. So I decided to order Bruticus and Devastator, and right now it's kind of hard finding them because you're finding the remnants of, unless it's been reissued, it's not easy. I haven't had it's been a search.
Now, is this the G1 that you're after?
Yeah, these are all G1 Magic Square Legend scale Transformer, third party.
Oh, okay, yeah. You were just telling me about the Devastator, how it took you 6 hours for the whole thing.
Yes, yeah. So I got all of the members of Devastator, and then I got Bruticus. I'm working on Bruticus right now and just transforming them into vehicle modes. And I started really digging, just messing with. I think the first day I messed with Scrapper, and then I messed with Scavenger and Bone Crusher and Long Haul, and day by day I would just try to carve out a little bit of time and mess with them. And then at night, right before I went to bed, which is the worst time to purchase things, I found myself buying like 2 more like every other day. So now I've got 2 versions of Prime came in, one with the trailer, one with not. They're all like slightly different, the way that they do the repaints and stuff. And then I got Bumblebee, Jazz, what else came in? Mirage, Hound, Jetfire, Megatron, and I think that's where I'm at. The other thing that started this was I had gotten, this was important, I should have said this, the Iron Factory Leo Kaiser guys came out. I've been sitting on 2 of them, just sitting in the package for what feels like 6 months. Kill Bison and Drillhorn, I guess it was. So anyway,
Kill Bison with his middle fingers included.
Yeah. And so I think 2 of the other ones came out recently, and I got them about 3 weeks ago. It was right around the time I was watching the new movie. And that kind of spurred my interest in the smaller stuff. In Iron Factory, they usually do their stylized. And I'm not as crazy about it, but I think the Leo Kaiser guys look amazing. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of
some of them are pretty faithful, but some of them go either IDW or their weird
yeah.
samurai subline.
Yeah, the biggest thing so far with those for me is the little tempo, the decos, and as far as the heads, everything looks good. And that's important to me is if they get the heads right and the paint's good and the transformations for that particular for the Iron Factory stuff, unlike Magic Square is so much more complex. Once you learn it, it's not that hard, but it's still time consuming and it's complex. You have to like to transform Transformers. Some people don't, believe it or not. But I do. But the Iron Factory stuff's really easy. You can go back and forth pretty quickly, I find. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been into this last few weeks, and this week has been insane.
Yeah, I'd love to track down that Laukaiser and get it because it's the
totally
first ever Death Cobra that we've ever going to get.
Yeah.
Probably the only one.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming up with ways to attach everything, and I just love that idea. Like I said, victory to me is where I dwell. So I hope they do more with it too.
That's awesome. I haven't gotten a lot in the past. Well, I mean, was that it? Or
yeah, no, that's it. The only other thing I would mention is if I don't know if you guys have talked about it on here, but that Studio Series Optimus, the 86 Optimus, is out of this world. Like
mine should be on Monday.
All right. Well, eventually we should have a it's one of those releases that like you get one every once in a while and it's just right and you don't have a lot of nitpicks, and that's the one for me, like this year.
Awesome. I can't wait to get it. Like I got charged for it day before yesterday, and it just shipped out this morning, so it should be here. I'd be super lucky if it got here tomorrow, but it says Monday, so
you're gonna be excited about it for sure.
I've been excited since I heard about it. I still need to get Rhinox. Like those two are my top big purchases of the year.
I would have sold you if I had known you needed Rhinox. I would have sold you mine because I decided to stop getting Masterpiece.
Damn.
Yeah, I would have sold you because I gave it to a guy about $20 less than what I paid.
Damn.
I'll have to communicate with you because I've been selling Transformers here and there. Mostly, I think I told you I was selling some Bacon stuff, but I'm selling. I don't feel like I need to be a completist anymore and hold on to stuff forever. I'm not selling any of my G1 stuff, but certain things.
I feel that.
But as far as me, I haven't gotten really much of anything the past couple weeks. Like I said, I had to cancel a bunch of pre-orders just because some personal matters and just bills.
Life.
that Walmart money is not as lucrative as it used to be.
It doesn't help it also doesn't help that when we actually look at the math of everything, it's collecting Transformers has gotten expensive over the past like just 5 years.
It's toys, yeah, everything. Honestly,
it's a 1-2 punch of they increase the price of everything. That's a given, right? But at the same time, their release schedule is a lot more full. So if you're trying to be a completist or something like that, and instead of you picking up maybe a figure every once in a while, night, it's not just a figure you're picking up a wave, and that's like what, like $60-$70 right there.
At least.
Well, if you're talking about just deluxes, that's $70 plus the $70 for Voyagers, and then $50 per liter.
Yep, I mean that's exactly where I was going. It's become like a whole wave is now around like what would be the math shooting for him, like around
about $200.
Yeah,
yes.
Let's say the high sales tax in the U.S. is around 10%. So let's say around $230. A single wave is around $230 now. When back in, like, just say like 2019 or even on 2020, it wasn't that much.
Yeah.
It was like maybe 170. So it is getting super expensive. And now they kind of silently are now releasing two not Titan classes. What's the one? Commander?
2 Commanders.
Yeah, now they're releasing silently 2 Commanders a year. Which that's also kind of like, okay, that's a bit expensive. It'd be one thing if they released two commander classes, and because think about it this way: this year alone, we had the HasLab that dropped at $300. We have two Titan classes at $80 a piece. We have what 4 leaders that are close to $60 a piece. That right there is like if you want to be a completionist, you got a good credit score, or some deep pockets.
Yeah, and the other thing a lot of people don't talk about, at least I haven't heard them talk about, is like when they hit. If Transformers has a wave that's hitting, usually Star Wars Black Series Vintage Collection or either G.I. Joe Classified,
Mm-hmm.
they usually hit and ship at the same time. I'm assuming they're sharing storage containers and just trying to get everything over here on the boats. There's, science to them saving money on that too. So they all hit at the same time. So like this week, for instance, other than the Magic Square stuff I've been picking up on the secondary market, they hit me with, I think it was 15 items just like this week. And usually I usually do BBTS and Pulse, like a combination of the two, but there's not much heads up. Sometimes there's a heads up from BBTS by like 24 hours, but when it hits, it hits.
Yeah.
Well, and then Hasbro, usually is supposed to do a heads up like 4 or 5 days in advance. But Alan and I got hit with it. He got hit hard in July with no warning whatsoever. Just about $300 gone for him. $60 for me.
Oh, it wasn't 300 in total. In between, because it hit twice. It wasn't 300. It was close to $500 gone in less than 72 hours. Gone. And because
that sounds right.
Because just to put math out there, 2 of the items alone, one was Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
And another item was the GoBot 3-pack that's like $80. That's almost $300 right there. And we're also talking about like 4 other different deluxes and 2 more Voyagers. It was close to $500. That hit literally days before an out of town trip where I already had the hotels reserved and everything. Like I had to go out and sell stuff both there and days before just to break even, and I'm still feeling the shockwaves about that. And even when I got on the horn with Hasbro, their excuse was, "Well, we just..." I'm not going to make the I'm not going to make the make fun of voice. They said, and I quote, "Well, when they come to us, we try to ship them out as fast as possible. That way, there is no delay." And I asked them, "So why is there still no like heads up about like giving us at least a email to like give us a heads up?" And what I think is what oh god, I already forgot his name. New guy.
Rick.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Rick?
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you said. It's like they want to make money because their policy states that they do not offer returns nor cancellations until you return the figures back. So
that's right.
It's probably they're doing it on purpose to charge you X amount of money, just so in case, like, oh, you want this back? Well, guess what? You're gonna have to call us for a return label, and then it's gonna take another few days just to get there, and it'll take another few days to get that return. So if you want that $200 return, you're gonna be waiting another 2 weeks until you get it back. And they want and they expect you to do that. In other words, so you can just go, so you know what? Say screw it. I might as well just keep everything. Because I don't want to go through that hassle.
Yeah, it's a give and take with them, because the other thing is, for me, standard, like on the regular, they are usually sending me an email as the package is in transit. That's my experience, is that the package is always never have I gotten anything before the package, unless it's a HasLab, which is a little more organized and sent out, periodically, let you know what's going on with that.
Well, unless it's the Soros, which it's shipped and arrived in people's doorsteps, and then they finally get an email saying, "Oh, your item is shipped."
Most of them, though, everything I've done, maybe with the exception of that one, so all the others that I've done, they've been pretty good. But on the regular, they don't give me a heads up until it's on its way. I've actually gotten an email the same day I've received stuff from them. But it's give and take, because here's the opposite side of that too. So that's the bad side, and it's rich. But the other side is, once I started like selling a lot of things on the regular, the shipping for something like Tidal Wave, for instance, that's going to cost, depending on where you live, that's going to cost me $50 if I bubble wrap it and put it in a nice size box, put box corners on it, which I do. Like that's stuff that I do because that's how I like to receive stuff. So if it came to me mint, then you're going to get it mint. But that's going to cost me that much money. But the one good thing with Pulse is it's sort of like Amazon Prime. Like they don't make any money off of me when I give them $120 in January or whatever it is for Amazon. They don't make any money off of me because we get stuff every day. And even with Pulse, like I'm getting so much stuff, I do save money just with the shipping and stuff. So I have good things to say and a lot of bad things as well.
Yeah. That being said, I experienced that when I got charged for the Bludgeon and Ruckus pack, and so that came in the other day. The Ruckus looks so good.
I got him. I like him too. I had him out sitting, looking at him for a few days before I tucked him away.
Well, see, I've got him dual wielding the little grit or tan pistols because I honestly kind of like that more than the over the shoulder thing.
Yeah.
Just have it because it reminds me of Master Chief with his SMGs on the Halo 2 cover. Because that's what they look like. They look like his SMGs. So, but yeah, happy for that. Bludgeon, I've got my grievances with the molding of the wires on the head. It just looks like he's got a mouthful of noodles hanging out.
That's fair.
But
thanks for making me see that.
No, you'll never unsee it. Just like the ducks on BotCon Octopunch.
Yeah.
But that being said, let's go ahead and get into the first topic, which is spoilers for Transformers 1. So basically give our thoughts on the movie, talk about the spoilers and Easter eggs. So this is, if you haven't seen the title already, this is your official spoiler warning. But first, I'm going to look at a couple comments. I'm going to ignore the second one by Alex because that is just fucking weird, dude.
No, I already read it.
Daniel Rocha, he's here curious about our opinions on Transformers 1. And hello, Alex. I'm not going to read that comment out loud. But yeah, opinions on the movies. We'll go ahead and start with that. Alan.
Before we actually dive deep, I'm just going to give a little what's it like a public service announcement. If you guys haven't watched and go see it, please go watch it. It's being slammed because it got released in between both Beetlejuice and the Wild Robot, so it is being slammed money wise. Hasbro needs this movie to do good, and as a fan base, this movie needs to do good. So if you haven't gone to go see it, please go see it in the theaters. Actually pay to go watch it. Do not be a pirate. Do not watch it on a friend's computer. Go watch it. Because again, this movie needs to do good. All right. Anyway,
what's funny is it's got such a positive rating, for both fans and Rotten Tomatoes, whereas Joker and Harley Quinn are getting bombed. Like it's not doing well as far as reviews.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, it's got like a 40% of Rotten Tomatoes, but again, we just don't go off that. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it could have the Sonic movie effect where like the critics rating is like 30 or 40%, but yet the audience rating is like 98, 97%.
Or, an IGN rating on Transformers 1, rating of 5, mediocre, but it's like the best Transformers movie ever.
Bro, I was on Reddit earlier today. The Transformers Reddit and the IGN Reddit are ripping that score apart because people are finally going to see the movie. And they are calling back for the person who saw it to go be like, dude, we don't know what movie you watched. You either clearly hate this franchise, or you clearly hate this franchise, or are out for Transformers movie, or you did not watch the movie all the way through, or you didn't even watch it.
Probably just watch the trailers.
Probably.
That's one thing I think that's killing the box office for the movie is just the marketing and the trailers for it. Like they were not very good trailers.
Oh no. Like I've been saying it in my head for ever since I saw the movie. Whoever's responsible for the marketing department for this movie needs to be fired.
I totally agree.
Along with Lorenzo.
Say again.
Yeah, the trailers were the worst. I would say that it was the worst edit based on what we finally saw. Now I can say it and know it's true. Whoever edited and whoever told them this is what we need the trailer to be whoever gave the marching orders and then edited, even the editor, if they didn't question it and they had saw part of the film, that's all on them. That whole team. That I would say it's the worst trailer for a film that I've seen that was actually really well done. I can't think of the last time I saw a trailer that bad, where the film was actually great. But
I can't either.
To find a way.
So we have given our spoiler warning. So I'm going to say this: I was pissed to find out that the secret ending, the ending at the end of the credits, was the majority of the trailer footage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That pissed me off. Because for those who haven't watched it and they're just here just to hear our thoughts, the ending at the end of the credits, the scene at the
end credit scene.
Yeah, the end credit scene is Megatron taking the High Guard to a secret. We don't know. It's literally in the mountains.
Probably Kaon. It's probably going to be Kaon.
Yeah, it's probably where the birthplace of Kaon's going to be, and he starts branding the Decepticons with a hot iron. And the iron dropping and then him saying Decepticons rising up is in every single version of the trailers. But yeah, that's the equivalent of flipping Nick Fury being in an Iron Man trailer.
Yeah.
And
I'd say it's even more important than that. Like, it's literally the bad guy, the origin of the bad guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just one guy, but the entire team.
Like,
it's important.
I had to talk to so many different people just when the trailers dropped, and they were already like, "Man, I'm not sure the trailers look bad." I was like, "Dude, if they got the right people in this movie, if they had the right people doing this movie, and if it is the subject that I think it is, this is before the movie came out, this movie will have a heavy tone to it and will not be that lighthearted." And I think that's what it really did, is that it made everybody think, "Oh, this is gonna be a kids movie with some maybe adult action to it." And no. Hold on. I got the beeps to do. My headset's about to die.
Oh.
I just plugged it in. But anyway. So where do we want to start with spoilers other than us just ranting?
Well, real quick, just rapid fire, give our ratings. So, like, out of 10.
Guess goes first.
Oh, I guess Rick.
I would do I'd say it's a 9.8. It's so close to a 10. And the only reason I can't give it a perfect score is because there's still things that I would have liked to have seen. And I still have the 86 movie in my head and where I was at that point in my life, a little bit of nostalgia, but I was built on toy commercials. My life is built on toy commercials at this point. And the 86 movie was the best toy commercial that I had ever seen. So anyway, that being said, like I said, it's close to a 10.
Don't me you.
You go ahead.
I'm only a few steps behind you at 9.5. It is a solid 9.5. Yes, it's mostly because some of the jokes were, even the kids in the audience were kind of like, because I went and saw this on a Saturday matinee, so of course there was going to be kids in the theater. But outside from just, if that's my only complaint, that a handful of jokes didn't land, you're doing something right. I can't nitpick about this movie. They made a Transformers world when they actually go out, like when they actually go out and see the outside for the first time, and you get to see how they incorporate the Transformers aspect into everyday life. Into, like, there's no roads because the roads build themselves as you're driving. The same thing with the train tracks and the landscape and all that. It's such a beautiful and creative way to give us a fresh take on everything.
Yeah.
The animation was,
There's one thing I wanted to get off my brain before I forget. Like, one of the main points that I liked about this media in the Transformers universe that I've never felt before in any Transformers media, book, movie, video, anything. And that was, at the end of it, the first conversation. So we went on a Saturday matinee as well. I have an 11-year-old, and my wife went with us as well. And the first conversation my wife and I had, and she's been around Transformers enough. She's been to so many BotCons, and she knows enough to be dangerous. So, but the first conversation we had was, I think I might be Team Megatron. And look, always loved the Decepticons growing up. I love the logo. I love the color palette. I love so much about the Decepticons. Love it. But I've never really left media, even any of the things I've read, and I've read some good stuff. I've never felt as invested in an understanding of Megatron like I did when I exited that movie theater. And they did a really good job at just putting you in his place. And, we're talking super spoilers, but the fact that Sentinel Prime was messing with them before they were born is just nuts. Like, politically, it's rough. And I think his response to it, while as it kind of progressed, may have been a little more like emotional anger, a little over the top. I completely understood where he was and what he was angry about. And I love that. I love that that movie made me feel that way and understand it.
I can actually add on to that, because a lot of the reviews I have seen that still talk about the movie in a positive light, they say that, oh, Megatron's turn was so sudden, and I'm sitting here like, I'm watching the movie like, no, like Megatron is he's a rule follower. He's a by the book person. So and trust me, as a fellow person who's like that, I can see, like, you can see his the hints of it within the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And so saying the turn's so sudden, no, it's not. As someone who knows that personality type and is that personality type, it really does take it really does take one really bad day, or just some bad luck to, like, oh yeah, literally everything that you're basing your whole personality on was wrong. It will make you snap.
Yeah, and his personality he's a person that's, whatever he's doing, he's absolutely committed to it. And all of us have something that we're that way about collecting Transformers. So I understand, like, if you're committed to something and someone completely unravels everything that your belief system was built on, you're going to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he got angry.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, Dalton, let's get your rating in before we really start discussing this.
I fall somewhere between 9 and 9.5. I do feel like the movie could just be a little bit longer to draw out some of that character development, because I am one of those who feels that it did jump a little far. Like, not to say, oh, well, this isn't a deserving turn. It just feels like in the runtime of the movie that it was a little fast.
Understandable.
Yeah. Based on the media that we saw and where we saw it in the theater, and the fact that it's animated, they definitely condensed story to get to where you need to be. Mm-hmm. Where do you guys like a movie to be these days? As far, because I know everybody differs on that. Where do you guys like a good movie to be time-wise these days?
2 hours. At the very least 2 hours.
Yeah.
The very big asterisks, because some movies that were 2.5 hours long, you can condense those down to an hour and a half. But no, I'm in total agreement, Dalton here. Like, this movie could have easily been a 2 hour movie, and everything would have seemed a lot more.
Yeah.
Everything would have flowed a lot more better.
Yeah, I think so. 2 hours would have been great.
Yeah, because certain scenes would give it a little bit more time to breathe. So instead of you hitting the nitrous on certain scenes, they could have been slowed down a little bit more. A lot more a soft example would be some of the say the line scenes could have been drawn out a little bit more, like a couple more minutes, like building up to him actually saying the Transformers will roll out, instead of the, hey dude, where did you get this from? You judging by where what you're presenting with us, you never said this in your life. and you've never been inspired to say this in your life. So it's like, where'd it come from? Like, actually show a scene of him actually thinking of it, like on the spot, rather than just, oh yeah, he said the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like maybe them escaping from like Alpha Trions, or the grave of the Primes. Maybe Prime saying "Let's roll" or something like that.
Yeah.
Give a hint to it.
There was one one scene that I would love to have had in there is by the time we find out about the race and then we're in the race, there's not a lot of time. I would have loved a moment of buy-in, a little more buy-in from Megatron. Like if they had been at a bar the night before, the night before the race, doing like McAdams and just like hanging out with folks and then having them degraded in front of a bunch of other bots, because they're minors. I would have loved to have seen like just a little more buy-in, and then where they rank actually out socially in a social setting instead of the work setting, where you could see, because it would have been a great time to bring in other characters like Blur or whomever you want to put in there.
Or Mirage, since
having that in there would have, and that could have been just a 3 or 4 minute scene, but it would have really built the story up even a little bit more. Things like that I would have enjoyed.
Because I can't remember who pointed out, but they did point out that even in like some of the comics or media, Mirage is part of that upper class, kind of rich, upper class. So it fits that he has a T-Cog and D16 and Orion don't. I think they relied a little too much on Darkwing because he seemed to just be a thorn in their side and vice versa. Yeah. So it would have been nice to have other bots kind of ostracizing the mining bots.
Yep.
I would have loved
it.
It really does show that it's kind of a weird like behind the doors type of thing. Like out in the public, they really appreciate the miners for what they do, right? But behind closed doors, they're very bigoted towards them. They're very like, yeah, you guys don't have this, and you guys are going to stay down there, and you're never going to move. And the most you might do is that you might become a commander over a platoon to more I know military terms, so I forgot what they
supervisor, I think is what Alita was wanting.
Yeah, like it would have shown that, hey, yeah, out in like the public, you guys are a lot more socially acceptable, but like behind the scenes, like, yeah, even though we accept you, we'll never give you the chance to be a real transformer. Like you'll never get a T-Cog, but also because that's the painting that Sentinel Prime painted was, hey, these guys were born without T-Cogs, not the fact that he ripped them out of them literally. And that's what adds more tragedy to it, because that's another thing that Megatron believed. He was born like that, and then it's a 1-2 punch of that. Not only are you born like that, but the person you looked up to and idolized ripped it out of you personally, and now before
you came online,
yeah, and that's another. So that every single one was basically made to be like that. To basically, in a lesser term, they're all technically disabled. They're born without a key organ, something to make them function as that species was intended.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and then just seeing Alphatron's reaction, to that, like the fact that they don't have their T-Cogs, and like, oh yeah, Sentinel said we were born this way. It's like, no, that dude's no. But just, and then just like at the beginning of the movie, like seeing basically Dreamwave Primus on that holo screen.
Yeah.
What was that last part?
And then, huh?
What was that last part?
Oh, just seeing like the Dreamwave style / Cybertron Primus, like on the holo screen, and then of course right beforehand Orion blowing out the cartridge like us with NES or N64 cartridges.
Yeah. It's so like I'm always a person who's like so. More background is I grew up watching the G2 reruns, like the literal, these are the tales of Optimus Prime and his Autobots, the CGI opening and stuff, right?
Right.
And went into Beast Wars. So seeing, I can, like I always, but at the same time, I always try to appreciate when they try to bring newer fans in. Like you not believe how many times I have a friend right now I sold my animated Safeguard to, who grew up on the movies, the live action movies. So, but at the same time, it's like I do appreciate the giant wink to the 80s to like the older fans, you know. But don't make it apparent like that.
Or like Lita telling Orion, "You don't have the touch or the power."
That's more clever though, because it fits in more naturally with the dialogue. But us original 80 babies are like,
Yeah, we literally turned it to Leo in was it Stories of Hollywood or something like that? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's more subtle. Yeah, that's more subtle. I like that. Not the hey, we see you G1ers. Wink. I hate that. I really do. Okay, so I just got informed. I got to leave a little early to go get. I got bribed with sushi. So can I just like quickly just jam in my quick thoughts in here before I have to go?
All right.
That's okay. Okay, so quick little rant is that Chris Hemsworth was fine as Optimus Prime. Everybody who didn't like Peter Cullen, I hate to put it like this, suck it up. Peter Cullen's not going to be here forever. We have to get used to other people playing Optimus Prime. He did fine as a young Optimus Prime because we have to remember this Optimus Prime is supposed to be around his 19 to 20s. When Peter Cullen's supposed to be taken around, they actually said that he's supposed to be playing a 40-year-old. The guy who played Megatron. Oh God, I cannot remember
Brian
his name.
Tyree Henry.
Yes, I've been following his career since I saw him in Eternals. He was good in Eternals. He was good in Bullet Train. He did a fantastic job as Megatron, and you could really feel like
he was also Jefferson Davis in Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that's right. He was the dad. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great, phenomenal actor. He does a great job. I can't say he carried this movie. He led this movie. It's kind of know the difference because Scarlett Johansson.
He did a damn good job as Megatron.
Yeah. Like he did a good job.
Yeah. Like you felt his pain, you felt his anger, you felt his rage, but at the same time, when he's just being a goofball at the beginning, you felt that too. He did a great job as Megatron, and he gets my applause.
Suck her down with this really cool guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What was it? Scarlett Johansson did a really good job as a little one. Bumblebee wasn't as painful as we originally thought he was.
He was a lot more understandable because he was down on sub-level 50 for God knows how long.
He was literally
so he kind of goes a little stir crazy and just finally talking to real bots.
Yeah.
Instead of Aatron.
Yeah. It's one of those guys. It's like one of those people you'd meet that are constantly alone, so they have no idea how to talk to a real person because they don't interact with that many real people.
He's an extrovert that's been alone for Primus knows how long.
Yeah. So, but Keegan also did a great job as him. The backstory between everything was great. The story itself, we kind of already knew, and even the final moments of Orion became Optimus did seem kind of like, okay, we got to hit the fast forward button on this a little bit more. That was still really good. The subtle hint of D157's eyes slowly getting flickers of red before they finally just become like when he finally accepts and becomes Megatron, so to say, and you see his eyes, especially the part where they zoom out, you still see his eyes burning bright across the crowd. And I am 100% with I keep forgetting your name. I'm sorry I do. It's because I don't have, as you see, Shadowglass Jazz on the screen. Like I'm totally 100% agreeing with you. Like if like I used to be an Autobot dude, but I'm looking at that purple like I should be rocking that a little bit more. I should be rocking, and it doesn't help that I have a Mewtwo Decepticon as an icon right now.
Well, and one thing that was really cool was talking about his red eyes was like the trail that they left behind every time, like as his head moves around.
Yeah. All right.
And just the burning intensity.
Yeah. Okay. So just final more thoughts before I have to actually leave because my roommates are starting to knock on the door. Go see the movie you haven't. Please support this movie as officially as possible. It's a great C, 9.5 out of 10. Great action, great movie, great sound, great score, great voice acting. I hope everybody comes back to. I hope that the planned trilogy does happen. I hope this movie gets a second life as a streaming. Like I hope what happens to this movie did happen to the Eternals, where it did poorly at the box office, but the streaming revenue, just like when Eternals hit Disney Plus, it was the #1 streamed movie of that year.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I've heard some stuff just this week, other people going to see it that normally don't go see these things. Also moms carrying daughter, because my kid's 11. I hear a lot at the soccer games and the baseball games and stuff like that. And kids are starting to go see this movie in groups, and not just little boys, like little girls, which is amazing. I loved hearing that. Makes me feel good. So
Yeah. Oh, definitely. All right, guys. It was nice meeting you, Rick, but I gotta go. I'll
right.
catch you guys later.
Later, man.
Catch you later. All right. So, what about some of the Easter eggs? Like, I don't know if, like, I caught it right away. Like, during the race, you hear them call out Skyfire and Silverbolt.
Oh yeah, I was trying to read the leaderboards and stuff as they were popping up, as quickly as you could. I got a few things in there.
It's going to have to be one of those things, like during streaming, you have to get like screenshots or go back to, because I know, like, in some background shots, you could see Jackpot walking around. Like, Jackpot in a Transformers movie, an Action Master, unable to transform.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. One thing before I forget, I'm always ready to talk about Jazz. But one thing before I forget, we haven't talked about it yet. He just mentioned it, and I want to bring it back up. So the last time I got excited about music in a Transformers media, hearing like for the first time and stuff, was Transformers Prime. And I was so happy that Brian Tyler had been brought in to do this score. And the music in this lives up to the story, and the story is really incredible. And the voice acting lives up to everything happening that ILM did. And then on top of that, you have someone who knows how to make music that has a heart. One thing about Transformers Prime, first of all, they had a nice budget back then, especially first season. And that music still hits. The intro, and then the main theme. I always go back to my favorite scene in Transformers Prime for the music, and that was when they brought the mom into the headquarters for the first time. It's super good. If you know which one I'm talking about, I think it's the one where they fight Arachnid. And
then like Knockout and or has got Fowler
after they take care of Arachnid, they finally enlighten. Was her name June? They enlighten
June Darby
as to what's been going on. So anyway, this film did that for me. Like anything after like the second half of the film, the whole film is wonderful, but the music as it intensifies and the emotions of Megatron and all of the mystery unravels, that music hits hard. He did such a good job with it. So I just wanted to put that in there.
Like, was it the Tomb of the Primes theme, or the resting place of the Primes?
Yeah.
You could hear, especially if you go back to the end of season 3, that people, if you haven't seen Transformers Prime, spoilers, when Bumblebee is dying, you can hear that theme in Resting Place of the Primes.
Yeah, you can tell it was the same guy. If you're listening and you were a fan of Prime, you kind of got you could understand it was the same dude doing the score. So I appreciated that. Because sometimes I remember on Cybercast we've complained, like when they were sticking Transformers media on, what was it, like the Machinima app or some kind of app, and it was
that was
Combiner Wars.
Yeah, I can't remember what the app was called, but it the app went away shortly afterwards.
That era, we gave it such a hard time for a good reason. And this movie brings us back to, I would say, where Prime left off, because the first season of Prime, I thought it was really well done. This looks better. ILM just blew us away with everything, and I think the voice acting was as good. But I after I came out, like I said, like the score stuck with me, Megatron's emotions, and like usually I don't preach on my Instagram stories about going to see a movie. I can't remember the last time I did, but this one I know I've sent out at least 2 posts. I always feel bad when I preach about going to see something, but I think it's important. Like if you're into action figures, Transformers especially, this movie gets it done. It's really good. It's not a Bay movie. It's, you know, if you like the Bay movies, that's awesome. I'm just saying it's not that. It's rich in story.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, back to jazz. I think you brought up.
well, but you bring up the music again. I also think as Orion's basically corpse is going towards the core, you hear the death of Optimus Prime.
Yes.
Just that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the music you see as Prime's EKG is going out, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it was well done. It's a nice callback without being like completely over the top at the wrong moment. It's good nostalgia. So
I'd say the last callback, I mean, like that was that good was, I mean, last year with Rise of the Beasts, you know, the Till All Are One playing the Arrival to Earth theme in it.
Yeah, I love the Arrival to Earth theme. That's good. That's great music. 2007, whenever we saw that for the first time, I felt the same way about that song. That's a really well done piece of music. Transformers is lucky to have that as well. That's Steve Jablonsky.
Steve Jablonsky and now Brian Tyler and Vince Nicola, the big 3 composers.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good scores. Like I said, like they're the heart. It's just like for Star Wars, the music is so much of what you carry with you for the rest of your life. And when you can create a piece of media where the music stays with you and you can come back to it and use it again later, it's just, you know, it's those things that it's the magic. That's the magic. It's what you take with you.
But going back to jazz, like him being a close friend of D16 and especially Orion, like I can't wait to him being promoted to like lieutenant along with Alita and Bumblebee.
Me too. I need to keep giving this. I need to go back and see the movie a few more times and support it. I just got to keep supporting it.
Yeah, I'm going tomorrow. Actually, I was supposed to go today, but there wasn't a showing early enough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the other thing when you leave the theater and you have such good thoughts is you can't wait to see what's next. And I mean, this was well done, but getting a larger cast of characters and something to the, you know, this one has scale to it, but it's not like what I was saying earlier with the giant toy commercial where you've got like 40 characters featured and you've got so many characters that you can kill 10 of them and you've still got 40 left to deal with. That was insane. But to bring something like this and have a larger cast of characters, to add merge groups to it or specific groups, or the Dinobots or whatever it is you're bringing in, like the sky's the limit. Because the other thing, I guess we should tell people is like this feels like such a good foundation, ground zero to start a Transformers that not everybody reads comics. You can always go back to those things. You can always come up with fresh parts too that use some of an amalgam of all the things that came before. As long as the story is good, you can go to new places. So I think my biggest excitement is just expanding that cast of characters to give Jazz some stuff to do.
Yeah, or even Sideswipe and Prowl, RC.
Yeah, it's and giving them their due, like not changing them. With Bay, a lot of the Bay movies, one of my biggest problems was they made so many changes and they didn't need to because the personalities it's sort of like G.I. Joe. We say that in the Joe community as well. Like the personalities and all those file cards, all the things that have been there for years, some of them are worth exploring. And the comics have done that pretty well. Media really has not. So to go back, this ground zero that we're at is really exciting if you're a long time or a new Transformers fan. I will say this too. My kid's 11, so like, you know, he's grown up with Transformers and things like that, G.I. Joe, Motu, Star Wars. He's around it all the time. I would say, and now he's 11, he'll be 12 shortly. But in the last few years, he hasn't really messed with Transformers a whole lot. And the idea of puzzle play hasn't been as appealing to him maybe since age 9. I'd say 2 years. And so we went to see the movie. And that weekend, he brought out all his Transformers. And it's been, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks now. And he's still messing with them and asking like things for his Christmas list. And I'm like,
Wow.
Thank you, God. So, and yet we were at the soccer. I was at a soccer game yesterday because he's doing soccer right now. And one of the little girls, or I say little because they're 11, but they had just gone to the movies to see Transformers 1, and I was so excited to hear like groups of other kids going to the movies to see Transformers. It's so awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then there's so many great moments to pick apart from this movie, like when D16 is like fighting Starscream, like you want to see one bot, fight over another or something like that, or the power of one bot over another. You see his fusion cannon come out, and then the strain that his hand is putting on Starscream's throat, you hear his voice start to change, like it's a little squealy, but then towards the end of the movie, it kind of goes back to normal.
Yep. Yeah. Even though his journey wasn't quite a 2-hour journey, it was still a good one overall. I just can't nitpick it. This is just one of the, if Transformers has left a bad taste in your mouth in the last 6-8 years, at any point, this is the best palate cleanser that we could ask for if you're a fan of the brand.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to say that for a long time.
It's honestly like a return to what we know.
And like we said, those trailers did not do it any favors. Like it could have been, and maybe
or Lorenzo spouting lies during interviews saying, "Oh yeah, this is like 3 billion years before the first live action movie." I don't think that works anymore with Sentinel getting ripped in half.
He should be a background person. They should have they should have folks that are allowed to talk and people that are in the background. Doesn't matter who's writing checks. And yeah, I agree. This movie, there should have been a better trailer. One of the things I'll say about the 86 movie, I remember being at the beach and it was summer and MTV was all the rage. It was when Madonna was, super popular. And I remember being at the beach, Madonna videos and MTV was on, and seeing that trailer multiple times, like during that week. It would pop up in the evening, and I would see that trailer, and the trailer was out of this world. Like back then, things were a little bit different. So if you had cartoon characters that you saw in the afternoons after school on a trailer for a movie, and they were like the two characters, and I remember Will Prime die, like the narrator questions, will Prime die? And I'm like, what? So anyway, the trailers could have been really cool for this, and I guess now it's just word of mouth. We have to make sure that anybody that sees this video or anybody that's out there collecting and just wanting good new media for stuff, this is a step in the right direction. So please support it. And I get it. Look, the movies can be expensive. And I'm an IMAX snob. I love going to see an IMAX movie. But you can still see it standard. They have regular 3D. They have IMAX. There's 4 or 5 different.
The real 3D or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 different options, and I get it. It's if you had I like Beetlejuice, but I didn't go see the new Beetlejuice movie. I'm much more selective with what I see. But this movie is absolutely. This is a good time. This is a good experience at the theater for sure.
Because I think the only other movie I'm going to probably see in theater this year is Sonic 3.
I'll say this for Sonic. They've done a good job marketing that to new people, because my kid, when he saw that trailer, I grew up with Sega Genesis. when I was in high school, Genesis came out. Actually, I think I was almost out, but I got a Genesis and I played Sonic all the time. I've never seen him play anything other than like a mobile Sonic game. But whenever a Sonic movie comes out, he's so excited about it. So whatever they're doing to attract kids to Sonic, good on them.
Well, then go back to like cathartic moments. I think seeing Prime get his axe was a really cathartic moment.
Yeah.
And just what they did differently with the axe, like him swinging it and then just the energy of it carrying on to just the blade like spinning off.
Yep.
Was a really cool
new
thing, I guess.
Now. I love when they do the what is it, light tracing, like you guys were talking about with the eyes and stuff. There's a decent amount of that going on. Yeah, it's beautiful. ILM, man, that's where we are right now. This is what it could be. I love it. I just wish there was a way. Hopefully it gets another, we get at least another part, and then we get I'd like to get the 3 that they've talked about. I'd love to get a 3-part, like this world, these voice actors, that composer. I'd like them to keep the band together, and if they could put out 3 albums, I'll be super excited.
I mean, even if they don't, this is still a good standalone movie. It's open-ended, so if it doesn't get the planned trilogy, there is an open ending to where someone else could take up the mantle and do a sequel to it. Like, even if it's not what was planned.
Yeah. I think like the stars have aligned, at least currently, where I've got a Skybound comic once a month that has been absolutely great for over a year, which I love it. Nothing bad to say about it. There's some good moments in there as well. That I was like, wow, like when you're reading a comic, you're always hoping you get one of those moments that make you feel like you're, when you're watching a movie, or, just something that just seems amazing using characters from a brand that you love. And there's been a few. So I've got a good comic. This movie came out. It's great. That 86 Optimus Prime Studio Series figure is phenomenal. There's lots of choices right now. Like I said, I started doing the little magic squares because it felt fresh for me, new. The transformations are kind of complex, but it's fun. So you've got Masterpiece, you've got Legend Scale, you've got Mainline Studio Series, there's so many choices right now. So I feel like Transformers right now is headed in the right direction. We'll see what happens. But it feels good right now. So I will take a win during this month of October and September. They're wins.
All right. So would you like to go ahead and get into this tier list that I've got set up here?
Yeah. What you got?
So let's bring up share screen. This mouse will. Like it's got great moments, but it's not perfect.
Is that the 2007 first one?
Yeah.
All right, so Michael Bay, 2007, Transformers, first movie. I love the alley scene. I remember sitting. This one's got a little nostalgia for me because I remember sitting at BotCon in that theater with everybody, And so I remember the alley scene being my favorite part, and like I said, the composer. I love the Arrival to Earth theme.
Well, then even like the fight in Mission City as well.
Yeah, the Mission City, Starscream transforming and back and forth into jet motor.
Yeah, or even like Prime and Megatron, their first fight.
Yeah, I like. So for me, the 2007 movie is somewhere closer to the top than the bottom. Maybe it's. Can we move, or do we have to place it and then it just stays there? I haven't looked. To see.
No, we could at the end we could probably rearrange things to fit
and
better.
Just,
but
yeah, and they're not each occupying one slot. Is that right?
What do you mean?
Like we're just assigning a grade, like you're taking a test, A through E. I'm assuming.
Right.
All right. I'm gonna give the first Transformers a B.
A B.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of D's.
Yeah, yeah. I guess right now we could put it in B, but personally, I'd say it's an A.
There's A's for sure.
But well, then there's S tier, which is like the best of the best.
Oh, okay. So S is the best. Okay.
Yeah.
Like perfect. Almost perfect. Whatever. All
So
right.
I honestly think it'd fit an A.
An A or a B is fine with me. That's fine.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put it in A for now. Revenge of the Fallen, I honestly that goes in D. Oh no,
yeah,
let's give. I'd say a C. Like
I'd be satisfied.
It's got funny moments, but the plot is dookie.
There's worse movies. That's in this group. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's worse movies.
Dark of the Moon. I'd say it's up there with the first one. I'd honestly say probably better than the first one, but
I would give it a B, but it's whatever. It's a fun time.
Let's put it in A with the first one for now.
Shockwave in it. I think a lot of people like it because Shockwave was in it.
Well, and then like the fight scene with Prime near the end, when he's got
pretty good.
The brass knuckles.
Yeah, I actually like that Megatron truck mode with the poncho or cape kind of thing.
Yeah, that we see for 5 seconds and then it's never back.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah. We're gonna keep going in release order. So Age of Extinction, I'm gonna put that in C.
That's
honestly.
It's a C or a D for me.
Yeah. Because it has a few neat moments, but overall it's just kind of not good. And then I think we can both agree Last Night goes in D.
Yeah, it's total garbage. Is there a G for garbage?
If I had more time, I would have like labeled these or like given them like different names for the rankings. But yeah, Last Night was just god awful.
It really is.
Bumblebee, part of me wants to put it up in S tier, but honestly think it deserves A.
It's either S or A. If it's in the A tier, it is the best of the A's.
Let's go ahead and do this. Well, there we go.
I totally agree with what's on the screen right now. You just made it perfect for me. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and go into the. Do we want to do Rise of the Beast or the 80s? Let's do Rise of the Beast.
This one's a tough one. I haven't thought about this.
I know, because when it first came out, I loved it.
Yeah.
But just in retrospect, I kind of want to put it in B.
I would say B. I've watched it maybe 4 times. I've given it its shot. I enjoy it for certain reasons. I mean, certain things, but I'd say B. I agree with you.
Yeah. 86. S tier.
It's S for me because, like I said, I'm built on toy commercials.
It's same here. I look at that movie through rose-tinted glasses like all the time. It's obviously it's got a lot of flaws, but it's so beautifully animated. The cast is great. Music top tier.
Yes.
And then I kind of feel the same way.
The animation, as far as the animation in that movie, in the 86 movie, outside of maybe a few anime and then the G.I. Joe movie intro, is there better animation? Like 2D, like layered cell effect animation? Is there? It holds up so well. And the fact that we got to see it in a theater or, was released in a theater.
And then in and itself has inspired so many iconic moments throughout the rest of the movies that have come out afterwards.
Yeah.
Like both in Bumblebee and Transformers 1, we get that shot of Prime leaping above in that hero pose. Like,
yeah, it's inspired so many artists and creatives for sure. I remember being in art school, and whenever I had assignments, that was my, especially if it was a large illustration assignment, that was my go-to, because it just gave me just a little bit more motivation to stay up all night and finish these crazy projects. It's definitely inspirational for sure.
Well, and then like such things like the Matrix and Unicron have been spawned from this movie. Like, the Matrix of Leadership has become such an iconic piece, and I guess kind of MacGuffin of Transformers. Like, as far as movies goes, the first time we've seen it since is Revenge of the Fallen, and that's where the whole, it's not earned, or it's not bestowed or taken, it's earned.
Yeah.
So, such a beautiful movie coming up on its 40th anniversary, which is crazy.
It's
like, I remember going to see that in theaters for the 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
Like, it was so beautiful seeing it in theater.
Yeah, it really is.
So, our latest entry, Transformers 1, I honestly got to put it up with the 86 as an S tier.
I think so. I think it's right under the 86, but I think it, like I said, we're lucky to, I'm so glad this movie happened, and I'm glad the trailers were wrong and just badly edited. Yeah, this is a good time for us. I mean, we need to make sure we take our friends, nephews, nieces, cousins, kids, whomever, we need
partners.
to make sure
like my partner absolutely loved the movie. Like,
that's like I said, my family had conversations for an hour on the road trip home, and everybody enjoyed it. Like I said, if it got my kid to pick up Transformers again, then it did its job. And he's asking for some stuff for Christmas, and that's exciting as well. So, and I hope new people come in. I hope this ground zero isn't just something that the hardcore, I hope other people gravitate to it. And, it's been a while since the Bay movies. 2007 was a long time ago. So having like a kind of a
17 years ago.
And, I guess Bumblebee was sort of it wasn't ground zero. This is the first ground zero we've had in a while. So
first like clean slate. Like,
it's nice having that clean slate and a nice foundation that's started. I love that.
Yeah.
Bumblebee and I wonder how much of that. So the story is strong. They had the best. They got that actress at the perfect time. She had already accomplished a lot, but she wasn't done accomplishing a lot. She's a great actress. They lucked out getting her.
I really loved her in Into the Spider-Verse as Spider-Gwen. I still need to see Across the Spider-Verse. Like, I still haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. In the is it 10 minutes? First 10 minutes of Bumblebee where they're on Cybertron? I mean,
honestly, like first 5.
Yeah. Whatever. And then they do that flashback later. So it's probably less than 10 minutes total. But really, that's why, for me, the story-wise, the actress, and then that scene is why it's ranking up there. And the other one that we talked about, the composer, the alley, the fact that it was the first time we saw live action robots transforming, it's a lot of that. That's why those two movies are in that spot.
Yeah. It just, those two movies are honestly beautiful for what they did between the 07 and Bumblebee. Like,
Bumblebee is one. I will say this: I've watched Bumblebee as much as I've watched the 2007. At this point, I've watched Bumblebee a lot. There's something that grabs me, right? And it's a pretty good movie. My only nitpick with that movie is I wish the cast of characters were deeper. And I understand the simple story that they were telling. Sometimes simple is good. I just like to see that cast of characters from the beginning of the movie a few more times, maybe, you know.
Yeah, like that version of Wheeljack, or
Yeah, just if we had gotten even a few more minutes, honestly, Bumblebee could have been moved up to the S position. Just a few more minutes of that, maybe 10 more minutes of some of that stuff, and I would have liked more than just Prime on Earth, even if it was just one or two more characters. Just a deeper cast would have been.
Yeah, like seeing Ironhide get some speaking lines or something. Like, even if it was Jess
Anything.
Harnell coming back, or been really cool if they went that extra mile and got Peter Cullen to do his old "but Prime."
Yeah. It's Bumblebee is one that could be moved up. It wouldn't have taken much. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
Who was it that voiced him in the video game? Was it Fred Tedescher, or however you pronounce his last
I can't
name?
remember. I don't know.
But like, even something like that, or even Corey Burton, like doing something similar to his animated voice.
Yeah. The High Moon games, if we were talking like just in general media, the High Moon games and the cutscenes and some of the things that happened in that, that would rank to me right under Bumblebee in 2007, or if it would be just a hair lower, but not much lower. Some of the things that happen in there were just really cool moments.
For sure.
I really enjoyed the High Moon experience of playing through those games. Not just the gameplay, but the cutscenes and the cast of characters that they were dealing with. That's what I'm talking about. If you take that cast of characters that were in the High Moon, expand that a little bit, and throw those characters in the Transformers 1 trilogy, or whatever they're calling it, I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Or even like some of the voice cast, like bring some of those back. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love, like, for the two voices of Bumblebee, I love Johnny Young Bosch in the High Moon game, and Dylan O'Brien from the beginning of Bumblebee.
Yeah,
like he captures that youthful scout / kind of like not really troublemaker, but kind of youthful side of Bumblebee.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
And, just being a fan of the anime Code Geass, like Johnny Bosch as the Cybertronian bee from the High Moon games was really cool to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But,
what do you think about where the movies are getting ready to go? What do you think about this? I mean, there's not much that they've said. I don't even think a script is approved, is it? For the
for like the G.I. Joe crossover? No, I don't even think they have a script yet.
Yeah. It's pretty, I don't know. It could go either way. Is it more of the same? Or either way, if we can somehow keep the Transformers 1 universe going, I'll be happy. If we can somehow keep that going and let them know, I just hope that they know how great it is. I think they'll know. I think once it's all said and done and streaming happens, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll get another one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a standout character? Do you have like from that movie? Did you have one that stood above the others? It's like, oh, that was such a good character.
But honestly, from Transformers 1, I think it'd probably be D16 Megatron.
Yeah.
And then just his relationship with Orion, and then like the callback to when they first meet in the locker room, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
like him putting that Megatronus sticker on his either his locker or stasis pod.
Yeah, the story, honestly, the story just, I know they both got their moments, Prime, and I know they all got their moments, but I just felt like his emotional, and it makes sense because he would be, a little more emotional about things from the anger standpoint, but he really stole the show from me.
Well, especially since, he looked up to Sentinel. Like, oh, he's such a cool dude. Like, Sentinel's awesome. He says this about Megatronus. And then just to
Yeah.
have it flip and like he lied about everything, and this
Yeah.
whole time he's got the T-Cog of Megatronus with him. Like, like someone compared him to Homelander, and I can see it, even though I've never watched The Boys. He definitely gives off Homelander vibes. Like, oh yeah, I'm better than everyone else. I'm superior than I look down on you because
Yeah.
that false
Yeah.
prime or that god complex that Homelander has.
Yeah, I've always been like I've always appreciated the Decepticons, and like I said, I've got favorite characters. Right under Jazz is probably Shock. I like Shockwave a lot.
Yeah,
And
Shockwave in this was hilarious. Like, why
Yeah.
would we follow you?
right,
We will
right.
follow you.
But this is the first time I'm like, man, I'm kind of Decepticon heavy right now. Like I feel them. Like,
hmm I mean,
maybe
I
that's a
sympathize with them, but I still I align a little bit more with like there's better ways to go about this than just
yeah. He
killing him and
went,
parading him through the city in
he
chains.
went a little over the top. Like he went past where I would have went personally, but I understood how he got there, and that's a feat. I hope other people come away with that too, that maybe have been a fan for a long time. That they kind of got a new understanding of how he got there. That's pretty cool.
I do have a couple more tabs here because we are running about an hour and a half.
What
So
you
I got
got?
a couple more. Let me bring up screen share again on a different tab. I'm just going to share the window because this is weird just doing it as just the tab. So here we go with the Infinity screen share for just a second. Haven't seen that in a while. We'll go ahead and look at this one for the primes, because this could lean to what we see for Age of the Primes as far as the toy line goes. We still have no idea what they're going to look like. But starting off with Prima Prime, which I believe is who Orion got his spark from, or his T-Cog, because I think they said it was Prima, Prima, Onyx, Micronus, and there was another one, maybe Solus, like where they got their transformation cogs from.
Right.
But you can definitely see here, this is where Orion got his.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the head design.
Yeah.
You still get that kind of homage to the Matrix sword.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Is very, very faithful to his Cybertron
yeah.
design.
Yes.
Like I saw him in the movie, like, oh, it's Vector Prime.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like obviously not one for one, but you still get that kind of look with the sort of auto body symbol head.
Yeah, I mean,
the shoulder pads.
Even if he didn't have the giant hole in his chest, just the silhouette with the shoulder pads, I'd know who it was.
Yeah, and the hip skirts, the swords. Very beautiful. And like, I hope we get this deco on the Legacy one at some point, or even just a new mold with this design. Solus, she looks really good. She's got her forge, of course, very much like the hammer that the Mistress of Flame had in the Prime Wars trilogy. So she looks really good. Amalgamus, I thought was an interesting take because we didn't really get a very clear picture of what he looked like, even in the Covenant of Primus.
Yeah.
So just this weird, like nondescript, multi-armed bot looks really cool. Honestly, looks like something out of either Diaclone or even like the GoBots toy line. Which I thought was a weird little wink nod. I think that Alan was talking about, like, oh, those two GoBots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Amalgamus definitely looks interesting. Nexus, I thought was pretty cool in the fact that you could kind of see in his chest the design that the barricade mold had from Energon. Like you could see where the Energon ship would go. So even though he himself isn't a combiner, you could see him as a torso bot for a combiner. So I thought that was neat. And the fact that Sentinel uses Nexus Prime's gun to execute the other primes. Micronus kind of gives me like gorilla vibes. Like he's got those gorilla proportions.
Yeah, he looks like the beatbox, toys.
Or even like the Manicon deployers from RAD. Like he looks like he would transform into like a little deployer bot. So really, some unique designs here, especially with Quintus. Like 6 arms, 4 legs. Like this dude is. He kind of also looks like Quintus from Earthspark, at least in the face.
Yeah.
So. Very strange. Alchemist, I don't know. Like he's got the multi eyes, maybe to look at different chemical compounds, I guess. But I was honestly hoping a little bit something closer to Macadam.
Or even Wrong.
Who?
That character Wrong from the IDW.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I get a little more Alchemist from that facial design of his.
Yeah, I can see it. And then was that a hammer or an axe? Yeah, interesting. Of course, Zeta Prime looking like he did in the video game.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm kind of glad they went with him instead of 13. Just this kind of anonymous looking Prime that ends up being reincarnated into Optimus. So I'm glad they went with like an actual character. Yeah, he looks really good. Of course, our wise old mentor, and fitting of him being like the historian, like like the archivist or keeper of the quill.
Yeah, that makes total sense. He's Merlin, basically.
Yeah.
What do you think about the this was a conversation I had with my kid because we were looking at he was trying to figure out. I told him he could get one of the toys from this movie that were out on the shelf that day, and he was talking why he picked Alpha Trion because he likes the beasts a lot. What do you think about him being other than the little deer? I guess we saw. It's kind of the only hint at like beasts within Cybertron.
Well, other than Onyx, but yeah. As far as like alive, I thought it was pretty cool. Like a weird, like wolf, lion, beast. Like I don't know what he was supposed to be, but it was still like a really cool design when he did transform.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I just didn't. It was weird because there's no explanation. I mean, I guess Arachnid is kind of a spider type creature, but they had a decent amount of screen time.
I thought it was really cool. Like it kind of fits with them being more ancient.
That's what I was wondering if we would see something like that if the universe continues. If we would see that there's more mythical type beasts within the history.
I mean, it would be really cool. It'd be kind of like a callback to Prime with the Predacons being like the dinosaurs of Cybertron.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be all for it, honestly. But me, I'm a Beast Wars nut. So
yeah, but I like the idea. Like when we get Alpha Trion, he's usually either a spaceship or a lion, maybe, or something. So if I had to pick between the two, I'd go Lion every time, or something in that realm.
I honestly hope the upcoming Alpha Trion for Age of the Primes is a Lion, a little bit more like cybernetic Lion, not like leaning towards like the organic. Like if it is more of a cybernetic Lion, maybe like a prototype Leo Breaker. That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the design for Megatronus. Like he was never the Fallen, he was never evil or corrupt. He was just very powerful.
Yeah, it's a good design.
And I could see if they do a third one, if Tarn is introduced, if he like takes Megatron's message and goes full on taking on Megatronus's appearance.
Yeah. He's got. I was thinking like it's Tarn, it's Megatron mixed together, different versions that we've gotten, and then he's got the Trident from that Depth Charge toy that we had.
Oh yeah,
Collectors Club maybe, I can't remember, but he had
or Pterodive, yeah. And, like the dual fusion cannons, one on each arm.
It's got kind of a racing stripe down the torso.
he's got like that gold trim all over him, which is really cool.
It's nicely aggressive with the shoulder pads as well, going into the points.
Mm-hmm. But then like the wings, and then like we saw in the movie, like the wings like come together and form like a missile pod on his backpack.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's probably the best designed, I think, personally.
Well, I still favor the Dreamwave design for the Fallen or Megatronus.
Oh yeah,
which
I'm just
from what I've heard is what
of these images. This one's probably my favorite of the images.
For sure. Yeah. But that from what I've heard, the Age of the Primes figure is going to be heavily inspired by the Dreamwave. So I hope we get some of these Primes in studio series. Like this movie alone has got a lot of potential for studio series.
I hope so.
Because from what I've heard as well, they're going to be ending the 86 toy line in 2026 for the 40th.
Yeah.
That seems like a fitting way to end the toy line.
Yeah, it's been a strong toy line. It's been the strongest one I can remember. It's funny like how many iterations of some of these characters we've gotten, especially if you just look back like from classics to now. It's never been as strong as it is like getting the Dinobots all kind of big scaled up and nicely detailed, and that the 86 Magnus and Prime are just perfect. They're perfect figures to me.
Yeah, I really love the Magnus. I still need to get the one I'm selling to Alan sent out.
You can sit down with them and transform them back and forth really easily, yet they look amazing. I think they did a better job than the Masterpiece, and I know they've had a few years to keep that going. Once someone designs it and it's in your hands, sometimes it's a little easier to improve upon. You take the best of the best and leave the garbage behind. I get that.
Yeah, but, leave the butt flat behind.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, the Magnus and the Prime. So the studio series has just been out of this world.
Yeah, I cannot wait to get that Prime in. I even got a couple of pin punches to swap the heels around. I know it's aesthetic, but it's one of those things that's going to drive me nuts until I fix it.
It didn't bother me, but I'm getting maybe the OCD is calming down as I get older. I'm better than I was 10 years ago for sure with some of that stuff.
Yeah. And then here we got Onyx. Barrow's quite a lot of design elements. I know someone compared him to Skylynx from Predacons Rising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's definitely got some elements of both the IDW and other media.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. He's got like those, I guess, like cloven or like hooves, like satyr hooves.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like the 3-clawed hands, kind of like a bird. So he's basically like a robotic hippogriff.
Yeah.
we're also the three of us here at home are rewatching the Harry Potter movies, so we're about to watch Azkaban.
I'm a big Order of the Phoenix person myself.
That one's
Also,
good. I love the first three.
I don't think I ever read the first 3 books, but I read 4 up until the end. But Order of the Phoenix, the book and the movie, are still my favorite.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just so heartbreaking too, and especially hearing behind the scenes stuff about the reason why the scream is silent is because it's so visceral from Daniel, because he also lost a family member shortly before that shooting, or the shooting that scene. So it just let out raw emotion. And then our last prime here, Leech Maximo. I wish he was green. I don't know why they went with the alabaster and gold, but he should have been green and gold. Or if they're going to do the white, throw some green in there instead of the gold. But it probably would have been too close to Loki, and they probably would have gotten a little bit of a issue with Marvel and Disney. So I could kind of understand it, but just make him green.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked really good. Like, not enough of him. Like, we saw Onyx's corpse like in the forefront a lot, but yeah, that's pretty much it for our 13 primes. We have one more tab here with character art. Start off with a Slipstream. And I really like the secret designs in this movie.
Yeah.
Or for the High Guard. And they're all unique while still similar. So like you got Slipstream here, Thundercracker with a visor instead of just regular eyes. And of course, Red Wing main appearance. I guess kind of like a non-binary look, but it's hard to tell. And he never had a speaking line, so
yeah.
But kind of got that Delta Wing thing like the Conehead, so that's really cool for him to have. And then a Skywarp with a mouth plate instead of a standard mouth. So like slight variations like this, I don't mind. Of course, we got a Wheeljack without his transformation cog, which was great to see. Like some of these characters that we're familiar with, even though they're not at their full potential.
It's very important to get some of these in there.
Mm-hmm. Like Hound and how he shares a body type with Ironhide. Of course, we got RC, which she was very faithful, like both cogged and without her cog.
Yeah, so recognizable.
Of course, there's the boy.
Yeah, he was super recognizable as well. I liked when they just keep it simple. Don't try to go off the path too much. It's not a bag of knives. How about that?
Right. Then Ironhide, he looks great. Brawn.
Yeah.
Moonracer. She looks a lot like Hound, but that's definitely Moonracer. Firestar. It's great to see her again in some sort of media. And Prowl, which very much shares the same body type with Jazz.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because they're very similar, even in the cartoon and toys. And Sideswipe. We also got to see Red Alert, and I think we saw the blue deep cover.
I thought so
in the locker room.
Yeah, I thought I saw that for sure.
And Sunstreaker, which a lot of people were saying, "Oh no, that's Tiger." Nah, that's Sunstreaker. Just add the wings on the ears, and there you go. Of course, there's RC with her transformation cog, which she looks great. She had her pink visor, so nice little call back to both Rise of the Beast and the G1 movie there.
Yeah.
Of course, Jazz fully kitted out, and he looks so good. I really want to see what his vehicle mode would have looked like. Just imagine a Cybertronian Porsche,
Not a dustbuster.
right? that origin story. It's fun, but yeah, it is straight
Yeah,
up a dustbuster.
it's nostalgic fun, but then if you put a little stem on it and move it back and forth, you clean.
An Ironhide. Oh, he looked good. Very much like his Bumblebee toy.
Yeah. I do like the Bumblebee toys, those designs from that. I love those.
I unfortunately don't have any of them.
Oh, really? They're
Really?
fun. It's just a nice little specific thing, from that movie.
Mm-hmm. And between Sideswipe and Jazz, I don't know who's my favorite, but I love them both. And Sideswipe looks really good here.
Yeah, Sideswipe's got a nice one too. The thing about Jazz is if you get his head perfect, then you got him. Like you can
right there.
You can
That's
deviate.
perfect.
Yeah, the head, just the silhouette. If you can get, because he's got like the best silhouette.
Yeah, I mean, either way, both heads here look damn near perfect.
Yeah, yeah. You can tell who their favorites were. People behind the scenes were, all right, we got to get the sports cars that everybody loves. We got to try to do something.
Yep. Well, then Sideswipe here looks like he's got those pop-up headlights, like the
yeah, he does for sure.
Of course, Alphatron with his beast mode. I still don't know what it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be a lion or just a beast.
I forgot what my kid and wife called it, something like liacorn, something like
a manticore.
Well, they think that the horn is part he's part unicorn, like a mythical creature.
Yeah, like the Titans Return one had the unicorn horn on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool design for Alphatron. I wish we got more of him in the movie, but part of me thinks if they do a sequel, they'll do kind of like him speaking to Prime through the Matrix.
He's Obi-Wan. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like a Matrix ghost. And I've heard saw some people on Twitter saying if they want Peter Cullen in these movies, the perfect casting would be to have him voice Primus.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. And then have Megatron or Frank Welker as Unicron, or even as Megatronus.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah.
And this douchebag.
Yeah.
What's really cool is he's like many homages of Sentinel Prime. Like he's got the sword from Dark of the Moon, the color scheme of like a mix of animated and Zeta Prime from the video game.
For sure.
And there's a Chromia. Now the model for Mirage is the same as this, but you swap the secondary blue for white. So Chromia and Mirage.
As they were doing the animation models, Hasbro's like, not too many. Let's keep it to 5 or 6.
Yeah. Arachnid and her awkward laugh in the infirmary.
Oh yeah.
They just made her very like unsettling. I wish they leaned more into that with her. Like then whenever she's looking around, like all the eyes on the side of her head move around. Kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, I liked her in this. I thought that was appropriate.
And then using her memory banks to expose Sentinel was great because she's basically a living surveillance system.
Yeah, it's a Black Widow type looking character is just ominous too. You know, I mean, you kind of just get that from her, the way she walks, and they did a good job. I like that.
Yeah, she was great, and then Badassatron. I like the color scheme here more than his cogged form. Like I wish they didn't go with the brilliant gold because that's more of a gold bug or G2 Bumblebee.
Yeah, I see that.
Leda 1, which is great. D16.
Another nice silhouette. It's a Leda 1 has become. It's funny because if you just think G1, she's not that prominent, but like lately, she's pretty prominent. She's definitely
especially with Earthspark. I think Earthspark is really what propelled her to popularity.
I think they needed during that era was the era of the female. And if you look at all the movies that came out, this was their answer to that. Now she's been kind of leveled up a little bit. So I like her silhouette. I've always liked her silhouette. And, getting Scarlett Johansson to do the voice, that was I mean, look, I love when voice actors get work, but she did a good job. That's the thing. Like, I can't say anything bad about any of the voice actors. They did a good job with the material. Even Hemsworth, I was worried about because Marvel is so prominent, and it's prominent for me. But I thought he did a good job.
Well, the only part that I don't think he did such a good job was when he said Autobots and I am Optimus Prime. Like, I think that was a little too forced.
Yeah,
he said he didn't want to imitate Cullen, but I felt like it was a combination of doing his own thing and an imitation. Just dial it back a little bit.
Because when I hear him talk, and then when I heard the voice, though, like when I hear the Hemsworth talk, it's a stretch from what I was hearing, but he did a good job overall because it never took me out of the scene. Like, did I know it wasn't Peter Cullen? Of course. How would you not? But it never affected how I felt about the movie, and that's good. Sometimes you can't say that. Sometimes it takes.
Well, then, to go back, we were talking about with the plot line, like hearing Megatron, just like his disdain for the Primes and how they've become corrupt, especially with Sentinel, just referring it to Optimus as Prime. It was like also like a reference to the '86 movie where he says it's over Prime. This isn't over Prime.
Right.
Like just the disdain when he said Prime.
Yeah, he did the best job. But yeah, I like the leader. I hope that they keep her in. I know you haven't read the Skybound comics, but prominent as well. So it seems like she's here to stay now. As far as like that brand Bible, she's been leveled. She's been leveled up. Our season is Skybound as well. So
Alita 1 definitely needs better treatment as far as toy goes too, because while I like the Legacy one, she definitely needs something a little bit beefier. Like, she is literally a strong woman character, and that's what I like about her. She's a strong leader. It's not just because she's a woman, because she's actually taken the mantle of being a leader.
Yeah,
she's got her flaws. Like she's got a little bit of an ego thing in this movie. Like, you got me fired. I was supposed to be supervisor.
Then the other thing you have to make sure of is if RC's around and Lita's around, you want to make sure that they're not the same character. Like in the G1 stuff, they're mostly the same character. And in some of the toys, obviously we get a lot of repaints. They're kind of the same character. But now that their personality, you need to let each one shine, and the modes that you choose and how you execute those modes are really important.
You see, I've seen a couple clips of her in Earthspark. I like how they portrayed RC as kind of like she's like, I'm a warrior, I'm a teacher, but I'm also like a goofy person too. Like she's a lot more playful, I guess.
Yeah, I like the idea that she's a teacher and playful, opposed to like someone who like really takes charge and is just tough to the core. I like a little bit of the differences in the characters. That's why Transformers is so good, really. I mean, from day one. It's not
like in animated where she was literally a school teacher and then became a soldier.
Yes, very much so.
Still got that motherly nature.
Yeah.
And then of course D16. I love the fact they went with like the old Marvel comics and the very first commercial with the yellow eyes and the black helmet.
You just need the symbiote Spider-Man just kind of
just swinging in there.
You just swing right through. Yeah.
Of course, Orion. He looks really good. Like the design's grown on me for Orion.
Yeah, I mean, like the head is close enough.
It very much reminds me of the Thrilling 30.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's enough. The design cues are there. Yeah, they did a good job overall with the design. If you think about like the Bay movies that we've had for so long, coming back and like looking at like the Bumblebee designs or these designs, they know now. It seems like they've figured out the design cues and how to execute them. It still looks fresh, but it's
Mhm.
the designs there enough.
Yeah, like you can see what would eventually become the exhaust pipes
Yeah.
on his shoulders.
I mean, there's an art to that for sure. Like, I mean, so they got it. I think they got it right. Bumblebee movie got it right too. I love the. At first, I was against like as a toy collector, like we said at the beginning, trying to keep up with stuff. I was against like, oh, Bumblebee concept designs. I was against it, but then I saw some of them, and I definitely like the Autobot end of things a lot. So.
Mm-hmm. And we got the scout ships that were kind of going around, zapping anything that was moving, basically.
Yeah.
Very organic. Like, they're definitely techno-organic beings. So glad they're kind of leaning back into that, like they did with the very beginning of Age of Extinction.
Yeah, it looks like Depth Charge's face at the, but like with an old
or like his shark drone.
Yeah, yeah.
And we got the mothership, which very crustacean-like.
Mm-hmm.
And with them sending out the tentacles to suck up the energon from the containers, gave me very strong World of Worlds vibes, like the Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool designs there. I guess the grunt soldiers. I wish we had gotten the Sharkticons, but maybe in the second movie, since
Me too.
They're gonna make the Quintessence the big bad of the sequel. Just all the like muscle and fibers all throughout the shell.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the High Commander, which I hope we see the judges in the second one. And I hope they have like a speaking role instead of just snarling.
Looks like the is it the grunts from Halo? Like the little guys that are.
Oh yeah, those ones. This is the Quintessence soldiers. Yeah. Whoa! What happened there? Like sped through all the tabs or pictures somehow. And of course, he's got with the T-Cog. Just the evolution of him throughout this is great. Like someone posted that you could get all three versions of Prime, like the mainline studio series and then the Takara one, and have a pretty close to scale representation of all three designs.
Oh yeah, like some kind of evolution pack or whatever. That would be cool.
Yeah, or just like purchase each one individually, and there you go. Oh, let's skip ahead again. Yeah, D16 looks great.
Yeah,
I love the evolution he went through, and then taking the T-Cog out of a Sentinel with that final evolution. And then, of course, Alita looking great. I do like the way her head looks before she got her T-Cog with little tiny antenna, but definitely still looks good here. I like if they went with like the kind of like burgundy color instead of straight up pink, like a kind of more, not really burgundy, but more magenta instead of straight up pink.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
B looks stand out. Like I like this here better than how he looked in the movie. Like I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Yellow works for me better than gold.
Yeah.
This.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looks good, but he's such an asshole. The battle mask looks really good. Like I'm trying to remember where I've seen a battle mask like that. Oh, IDW. And like the Titan's Return toy. Kind of had a mouth plate similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
So another look at Arachnid. She's got a very xenomorph style head too. Like as far as the shape.
Yeah, her design cues are pretty much there from Prime overall, though.
Yeah. Of course, Darkwing. I wish we got a better look at his vehicle mode because it was very strange.
Yeah.
And Starscream, like again, I loved all the designs for the Seekers in this.
Me too.
And Shockwave looked absolutely phenomenal.
Great. Yeah. No.
I wish they made him a little less emotional, but I think maybe that's something that could also happen in the second movie, like where he becomes fully logic driven. Soundwave, I kind of like what they did with his voice, but at the same time, it didn't quite make me feel like Soundwave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still John Bailey from Bumblebee, but
yeah. I mean, I think all the voice actors did a good job, but I'm partial to Soundwave. You know,
with the vocoded voice.
Me too. Yeah, I can't not think about it. I just like it. I usually don't complain about, you know, if it's not that, but like if I had to pick one, like if I was in the editing booth, I'm going to do that every single time and push my agenda on everyone. Absolutely.
Absolutely agree. I forgot to mention it, but the voice actor for Darkwing was the same person who voiced Soundwave in the High Moon games. Isaac C. Singleton Jr.
Fun fact.
It was really cool that they brought him back.
Yeah.
But of course, we got our Death Trackers, which is very much inspired by the Viacons from Prime.
Absolutely.
So glad to see more cues to that.
Yeah, Hasbro's like, let's make them look like the V. You know, we have that. We could put that out.
Of course, the gold high-end guards that Sentinel had. More Red Wing. Slipstream. I want to say Red Wing is possibly female here, just since it's similar design to Slipstream. Slipstream looks great here. I love the red eyes compared to the purple helmet.
Yeah, so one's a Target exclusive and the other's Walmart. Perfect. All right. Here we go.
Skywarp, I still like Skywarp with the mouth plate. Actually, that's grown on me quite a bit. And he was voiced by the movie's director, Josh Cooley. So that was a nice little
that's neat. I didn't know
bit there. I mean, all he really said was, "What?" Thundercracker. Thundercracker's. It's hard to decide which one is my favorite of the two, but I really like the colors on Thundercracker.
I'm going Thundercracker.
He just looks like he's tired of everyone's BS. Like
absolutely, aren't we all? So relatable.
Starscream again looks amazing. I can't wait for a Studio Series figure of him. I'm definitely thinking about picking up all the Blockies figures.
I kind of like the aggressive Soundwave torso. I mean, usually we just get that little outline. I'm looking at that, and then I'm looking at the eyes and the way they did that. Really, like a very thin slit for the eyes. Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's aggressive, and I kind of dig it.
Definitely. I hope. Again, if they do a sequel, we get to see his tapes, like him maybe discovering, the small jaguar, a bird, and two little guys just hanging out. Mm-hmm. It's like, how about you guys come with me? I think we could have a good relationship here.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea that he always has his own team. It's part of the play, and for me, it's just part of the lore at this point. Trying to figure out. I don't think they should spend a lot of time like trying to figure out. Why he's carrying a bunch of cassettes around with him. But I do like the idea of them being, I like the idea of him being like obsessed with just music in general eventually if he gets to Earth and sound. And the fact that he could, I also like the fact that maybe it's not always the same exact kind. Like maybe he's able to do multiple types of, it's not always cassettes, it's other stuff too. Like I would like that as well. I wouldn't be against it. Like if he threw out an 8 track, I'm just putting that out there. If somebody did that, I think that would be really cool.
Right. Well, then, like, they're bringing in like the sonic abilities in order to like determine if Orion's telling the truth. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Welcome back, by the way, Alan.
Hola, senor. Yeah. But I kind of agree with that. Like, I love how they're actually exploring more. I like how they're slowly over time exploring more how Soundwave can actually be more. What's the
Surveillance.
Not the surveillance, because he was always been surveillance even in the G1 cartoon. But like actually living up to his name, like actually doing more sound-based abilities and stuff like that. That's always.
Well, they really showed that with the Cyberverse.
Oh yeah. I just love the additional concept that we're giving these characters more and more actual unique abilities rather than just what's his ability? He fights good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, me too. It's the personalities that makes him shine. If they went to the point where he was like Oracle, I don't know if you guys follow Batman lore, but Barbara Gordon becomes Oracle, and she's got like all these computers wrapped around. She's the heart of Gotham, and she's deploying all of the Bat team around. I love the idea that he's got like this. He develops like not just when he gets to Earth, the idea of being obsessed with just sound and even nostalgia to certain things. And he has his team of tapes. I like the idea that he's surveilling everything. He's kind of like this voyeur, like he's off a little bit. Like Shockwave is evil scientist off, but like Soundwave is a little bit like he wants to know what you're up to, even if it's inappropriate. I kind of like that.
He is definitely like Big Brother spy.
Yes. I like that a lot.
We get like I kind of like your idea, right? I kind of like your idea where each individual bot's a different is a different physical medium from a different era. So we have cassette tapes, we have 8 tracks, we have we'll say the data pads to represent MP3 players.
Yeah.
We can do that and have them be individual bots at the same time.
Yeah.
And then of course they can always do a laser. I can't remember who did it, but they can always change their disguise on the fly depending on where they need to blend into.
Yeah, like Laserbeak and Dark of the Moon.
Yeah. Because I mean that not only does that plays into a lot. That plays into actual Transformers, like the spy mechanic of this franchise can actually like really lends itself to.
Yeah.
Well, and then another neat character thing with Soundwave is in the movie, like the whole thing with Megatron or D16 fighting Starscream, is he stops Shockwave from interfering, basically doing the whole let him cook thing. Whoa, hang on. I want to see where this goes. Like just that little bit of like early loyalty to D16.
This man's got a point.
Yeah, he's a good if you're telling a Robots in Disguise story and you're really concentrating again on that spy element or like Big Brother element, this guy's a core member of your plot. He's a plot device. He could be.
Yeah. Also, I like this. I like this speaker-esque circle.
The shoulder pads.
Yeah. It's like even though he doesn't technically have speakers yet, even though it's a design that us as the audience will catch and go, okay, we see. It's a neat design, but we know what that's supposed to be later down the road.
Well, and then if you look at the very center of his chest, you could kind of see like the window on the tapes for like the reels.
Yeah, it's almost like you're at it's like a Tron movie or like you're about to get on the Tron ride. It's it was well thought out. Like even looking at the card art where it's cropped, there's enough there to tell like a huge story with Soundwave.
Yeah.
And then we got Chromia, which, like I said, I don't know if you caught this, Alan, but she shares pretty much the same character model as Mirage. They just swapped the color palette.
Okay.
So Chromia and Mirage share the same design.
Okay. Now we were out, so I couldn't even have the stream going.
First, we got Alita again. Very awesome design. And without the cog, we got B again. There is the final design, Megatron.
That's actual Megatron.
Yep. He looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, look, even the hits of red are where they're supposed to be, but it's a little bit
And then
different.
these little
it's all there.
these
The
little
buttons.
details.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, even right here on the shoulder, that looks like the hammer of the gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
It does.
Very well done. And there is. So there you go.
Oh, yeah,
Full evolution.
Yep. Because even in that mid step, you can mid step and then go to D.
Yeah, he's always had those little hits of red.
Yeah, just a little bit. But like when you watch the movie, they become more and more apparent.
Well, then, like right here, Prime, Orion,
And
Coglis. So, yeah, I'm just over the moon with this movie. Of course, there's Sunstreaker, Prowl, Firestar.
Huh. I do like how I really do like how the people who made this movie really dug deep with a bunch of characters. So it's not just they had to create a bunch of extras. Like, no, they dug deep with they basically said they went to Hasbro and said, give us just a massive roster of characters because they're going to have to be filling spots.
Well, I don't know if you were here when I said it, but like Jackpot walking around in the background. Like, we got an action master walking around.
I was
like,
yeah, I think they were probably like, here's everything. Here's the Bible. Here's everything we have. Make a big note because this is important. You can't make more than if you make 50 characters, you can only have 8 animation models. Everything else is a slight retool.
Yeah,
they're
well, just
definitely thinking ahead.
Well, like Moonracer here, her head is very similar to Hound.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, Brawn, and I think Windcharger shares a similar design as far as like the cogless.
Yeah.
Like the miners.
Because it's kind of like what it kind of reminds me with the excuse for in the last night when you saw Topspin, the reason why
where he's got Leadfoot's head.
Yeah, and that's because Leadfoot's head was the only head out of the 3 of them animated to be that could talk.
Well, now Roadbuster, all you see was just the jaw move, I think.
And it wasn't even talking. He was supposed to be simulating like chewing bubblegum or something like that.
Of course, Wheeljack again. I wish we got to see him with his with his transformation cog, maybe with bigger ears, getting his little shoulder wings.
Yeah.
Sideswipe. Oh, he looks so good.
He's perfect.
Like I was telling Rick, it's between him and Jazz, who takes up my favorite Autobot. That it's like airing on the side of Jazz. But Sideswipe looks so damn good here.
Yeah, they're well done.
Like even without the T-Cog, he's instantly recognizable.
Oh yeah.
Ironhide again. It looks so good.
I
gush, but
I love how I think they actually work backwards. I think they started with their full version.
The cog design.
Yeah, I think they went with the cog design, and then they went
just
back.
Took away.
Yeah, and they said, how can we make this more minimalistic to still get across what the final version is going to be like, but it looks like it's missing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. RC again. She looks so beautiful. That hot pink and the hits of silver and black. Like this design right here really gives me Thrilling 30 vibes with the black.
Actually breaking things up so it's not just pink.
Mm-hmm. There's your boy.
Oh my man.
And the wheels on the shoulder, the door wings making an appearance for the first time in animation.
They got the hits on the waist. Everything's there. Everything. Everything's there.
Goodness gracious.
Then back to Slipstream. So yeah, that's pretty much it for slides. And I'm running out of time. My phone's gonna die soon.
Did we rank did we rank our movies yet?
I did. I want to see where you what you think of how they're ranked.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, I just gotta double check here. Yours are 86 and 1 are S. Following the first movie are A. Dark of the Moon and Rise of the Beast are B. Revenge of the Fallen, C with Age of Extinction, and D. Okay, so I'm gonna go backwards. Obviously, in last place is Last Night. That was
it's dookie.
it was a dumpster fire of a movie. It was
Yes.
I am a staunch defender of these movies, and even I will say, yeah, this was the worst one out of the bunch. That you can clearly tell they took three episodes worth of scripts and just smashed them together and said, here's something.
Yeah, was it Ultimate Doom? Really, the one I could think of is Ultimate Doom.
The season 1 finale of Transformers Prime.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They
with
clearly
Unicron being revealed to be Earth's core.
Okay, so hold on. I gotta type out my. Okay, so hold on. Give me a. Where's my notepad? Notepad, come here. I gotta type them out so I can actually look at the titles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
1 second. Give me my notepad, because I'll be just reading off your whole list. Transformers 1 and 86, 07, Revenge of the Fallen. Huzzah! I'm doing these in release order, so no one can.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how I put them on the tier list when we started it. Well, except for 86, we did that one like second to last.
Rise of the Beast, and then TF1. Okay, that's right. We have 8607, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, Last Night, Bumblebee, Rise of the Beast. Okay, yeah, they're all here. Okay, so The Last Night is definitely taken last place for me.
Yep.
So how many do we get? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So okay, yeah, it gets 9th place. Boop. Definitely is the worst of the bunch. It's definitely it. To be fair though, it does have some decent action scenes. It's a great movie to put on the background just to stare up and look at it for the fight scenes and do something else.
Honestly, I think that the best part of it was Megatron's crew, just the whole Suicide Squad aspect.
That was I ate that scene up, especially flipping Nitro Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
On his entrance, yeah, I was like, okay, this movie isn't 100% garbage, especially if there's like 1 or 2 scenes that you can actually legitimately enjoy. And you cannot deny that flipping Hot Rod's little time stop bubble gun was actually like enjoyable. At least in concept.
Yeah, if he wasn't called Hot Rod, I would have bought into him.
Same, double same. Like if they just like pulled a new.
I would have or like just call him Hot Shot or Crosswise or something like that.
I would have been fine with that. I would have been absolutely fine with that.
Okay, so second last movie has to be Revenge of the Fallen. This movie I also defend a lot because it was a victim of the writer's strike at the time. And you can definitely feel that, like especially after Prime dies, that movie just hits a wall. Yeah, you can definitely tell the writers were just like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it's like I was telling Rick, there are some funny moments to it, but just overall the plot is all over the place. Some like characters like Skids and Mudflap. Yeah, there's no wonder why there's no pseudo-serious toys of them, and there probably won't be.
Yeah, or if they do, it would be like the literal
ice cream truck.
The writer's strike, along with not having a great showrunner, it would have changed everything, I think.
Yeah. Because what was it like? You can definitely tell people were pumped for that movie. In my area, the midnight screening for Transformers 1 was literally 9 people, including myself. The midnight showing for Revenge of the Fallen sold out 5 screens at the same time for the same showing. There was lines to get into that. Yeah, there was lines to get. Yeah, there was lines to get into that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, give me a sec. I'm switching to without headphones because I need to get my phone on the charger. It's about to die.
Hey, Dalton, I need to duck out too. We've gone Lord of the Rings extended cut, so I got it.
Nice.
I know they're doing dinner, and I gotta jet out of here. But it was amazing. Nice. I had a great time talking Transformers with you guys.
Hey,
it was
nice
great,
man.
Definitely don't be a stranger.
Oh,
if
absolutely. Next time you guys do a show, just let me know.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you have a good time, Rick. See ya.
Definitely gives me a chance to. Okay, so let's see. After that, after Revenge of the Fallen, number 7 for me would be Age of Extinction. That movie was. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, it suffers from Return of the King, having multiple endings. Like that movie could have ended like literally 45 minutes earlier and be
Which
fine.
one?
Revenge of the Fallen, not Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh, yeah.
Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
That movie could have ended 45 minutes sooner. Like the whole climax in Hong Kong, you can cut that part of the movie and be fine. But of course, at the time, China was really trying to push the case of like you have to film a scene in China to have that movie released in China. And that anyway. Let's see. Let me go ahead and type out.
All right, give me just a second.
Yeah, this gives me a second to type the rest of these out, so I'm not doing them on the fly.
There we go. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, big oof. Oh my god, the top 5 are. Okay, no, there's number 7. That's 6, and that would have to be 5. Oh god, this is gonna hurt.
Oof.
Oh god, this is gonna. Okay, we stopped on Age of Extinction, right?
Yeah.
And now we start reaching from the we start going from the bottom to the mid, which God, I hate that. I don't like calling these mid because they're still good movies.
So let me just adjust so you can see. You would have it so far like this.
Yes. Let's see. So we did. Okay. So what's next? Number what? 6. Yeah.
I don't know. What did you say for
The
Last
last name. Dark of the Moon is number 6.
So far like that.
Yes. Dark of the Moon and the spot after it kind of fight for each other. It is a giant case of depending on my mood, who would be one over the other. Dark of the Moon was a great like it honestly that should have ended the trilogy right there. Because 1 through 3, not just movie wise, but like as a universe, through the extended universe of the comics, the novels, the sub storylines that was actually going on through the sub storylines that was going through the toys as well was a nice neat little package that could have stopped right there. And even of course the everything's true that Michael Bay wanted to stop after that, and
and then you get Age of Extinction, which breaks all the continuity and lore with the whole, Renaissance seeding the earth with transforming them. I'm kind of outside of matter because that makes more sense.
Oh god, yeah.
And then even worse, last night, Earth is actually a Unicron. There's been Transformers here since forever.
Yeah, that's
just been keeping it secret.
What doesn't make sense? What also hurts Age of Extinction and Last Night is that if these were movies coming out, like if these were reversed, right? And these movies were coming out in like 07, 09, and some of the first Transformers movie came out in the early 90s, so to say. Storytelling wise, let's just say for the sake of from shooting from the hip, from a storytelling perspective, all these were animated, like hand drawn, right? These would be waved off as this. Oh, it's the 7th one. Yeah, they're going to start jumping the shark. But at this point, when The Last Night came out, it was like what 2017. And Marvel's doing a better, showing people how to really do a good interconnective large storytelling continuity. It just even more points of being docked. Like, dude, you guys should have just been paying attention to your lore writers the whole time.
Yeah.
and that's just even more points docked off. But yeah, Dark of the Moon is number 6, and this is where I'm going to start getting some serious flack, because there's one movie in particular where yeah, this is where I'm going to start going to get some flack, and I'll explain it. I'll explain my decisions here in a second. Number 5 is Bumblebee.
What you talking about, Willis?
Now, mind you, the top 5 ones are still remember, the top 5 are still my recommended. Like, if you watch any Transformers movies, it should be these 5. I'm not saying they're bad. It's just in my heart where I put them in order. Bumblebee is number 5, but thanks to it not being now I'm talking about the movie as a whole. I know the first 5 minutes of that movie is treasured amongst our community. But as a whole, and how's it connected to anything? It's more connected to Rise of the Beast than it is the first Transformers movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, as a just a Bumblebee movie, it's fine. Overall, oh god, yeah. There's like, again, it's still a really recommended movie, especially because, like, when you really think about it, that movie is very gory.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing of Dropkick liquefying people.
Yeah, I like the way they pop. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is a PG-13 movie, and he's literally liquefying people. It's like,
I mean, it could be
yeah.
worse. It could be the original intended red law. I think that's what they were supposed to be when they first made the movie. No, this is a little too dark. Let's just make them turn into water.
Which, I mean, you know what? Kind of fair, because we are 85% water anyways.
Yeah.
75% water, so that is a little fair. All right. After that, yeah, this is where I'm going to start going to get some serious flack here. Is 86.
Oh.
Yeah.
That ain't it, Chief.
Huh?
That ain't it, Chief.
So my reasoning for this is because even as a kid, the animation errors could not be any more. Like, come on, like, really? Like, why is it this way? Why is it that way? Why does he cut off in the spike when the spike is literally a third of the way through the screen from him when he's trying to fall off the spike? But in between the animation errors and knowing about the behind the scenes of all the mess and everything, I can't hold this movie as the number 1 anymore. It's basically, for those who do not know, who's watching this podcast, do yourself a favor and look up the garbage mess that was this production. This movie was a miracle on how it got made and how it got released. And there's even some scenes and alternate dialogue that would have made a whole lot better.
Oh yeah, like the like from the really early animation to showing Magnus in his Delta Prime or Delta Magnus colors, like in a different building or whatever. I can't remember exactly what was happening.
Yeah, and I'm also going to point out, like remember when someone like myself is going to rate movies like this, I have to hold everything accountable. And I am including, like I previously mentioned, the animation errors. How many times, like the most infamous one is Cyclonus and his Armada, only to be introduced in the movie, shown in one scene, and never be mentioned again.
Yeah.
This is where if it has faults, I'm going to call it the faults. And as much as this ends up being a good starting, this isn't really a good starting point for any Transformers fan. This is not a good jumping on point, especially when beloved characters are dying within 30 minutes of the movie.
Hell, 10 minutes of the movie.
Huh?
Hell, it's been like 10, 15 minutes of the movie.
Right? Especially when you're flagged to your character that is pop culture icon dies within the. That's what I'm mostly talking about. When he dies within the first 30 minutes of the movie, I don't think that's. No, Transformers the movie is not jumping on point viewing. It is your deeper dive viewing. It's still a recommended watch, but as a tier list, as in top tier filmmaking, as what is a good movie, no. Though sometimes the jokes can be a little bit too corny. The music, as good as it is still dated. It's still 80s rock. And I'm trying to put these movies in like a little bit of a time capsule of themselves. And yes, I am going to dog on the next couple of movies. Just to show this is not favoritism. Again, this is the movie I watched religiously as a kid, but better stuff has come out since then. And I am not one to have beer goggles or rose tinted glasses to say, oh no, this is the best one because it was the first. No, if it aged, I'm going to point out if it has mold, I'm going to point out the mold. And this movie has some old from aging too old. Again, before I move on, it's because I know I'm going to get a lot of flack. Yes, it's still a good movie. It's still good. Just don't ignore what's in front of your eyes. Anyway, to the next movie. 86 was number 4. Rise of the Beast is number 3.
Okay, I can respect that.
As a solid movie with
what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock. There we go. And there we go. There's my compromise.
Okay, yeah, that's very. If we would have to put it on solid like I'm going by like number wise, like like number 5, 6, 7, 8. That's I can agree with that compromise. It's an A- at best. Rise of the Beast is next. I loved the Ramos's character. What's his name?
Noah.
Noah. Yeah, I loved Noah. I loved it. I loved how they actually gave him a little bit of an arc. I love the actor who played his little brother was actually a decent actor.
Oh yeah.
Loved Mirage. Holy snap! Like
Pete Davidson, delivered with Mirage.
He really
did.
He ate
that role.
Oh yeah, I first thought, when I first heard his casting as Mirage, oh god, it's just going to be another Pete Davidson role. I mean, to be fair, it is Pete Davidson playing himself, but at the same time, they wrote around that to be a little bit more. I'm trying to think of the right word. They wrote it in such a way it wouldn't be jarring. They still, huh?
I said yeah.
They wrote it in such a way that it's still a more relatable character, and you can understand his personality. And in a weird way, I think him being a Transformer lets his personality be a little bit more of itself than being a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those cases of he makes a good voice actor, but not a good actual real life actor.
Yeah. Well, in case of point, they've got him playing Kiki the Cat and Dogman.
Huh. Oh yeah, because I didn't even recognize that was Pete Davidson. Okay, yeah, and I was really enjoying it because I saw that trailer when we went to go see Transformers 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually kind of enjoying that. I mean, I have no idea what I know. Dogman's a series of books for kids, and that's
yeah, it's the same people who did Captain Underpants.
Oh, okay. Now that you see it, yeah, I can see the art comparisons, and I might go see it. It might be a cute little kids movie to go see, just on a random Tuesday or something. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, Ron Perlman as I know they're not. I know in these movies they're not going to bring back the original voice actors except for Peter Cullen and Frank Welker at times because they're just so well known. But I still loved Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job, but I'm biased towards Gary Chalk. Gary Chalk is the GOAT when it comes to non-Peter Cullen Optimus Primes.
Yeah, and Gary Chalk has walked and Gary Chalk has voiced people in fucking Marvel movies before, so you can't tell me that so you can't tell me that they can't afford him. He does good work.
Mm-hmm.
He voiced fucking the big red guy, the big red guy in Eternals. So
now you're thinking of David Kaye.
Oh, that's David Kaye who did it?
Yes.
Oh, that's hey.
And Gary Chalk was in Sonic as the Naval Commander, which is a callback to him playing Grounder and Robotnik, or grounded from the original Adventures of Sonic, and then he was Robotnik from Sonic Underground.
Yeah, I still love the fact that there's technically 2 Transformers cameos in that movie. They purposely reused the Galvatron truck.
Yeah,
For
Green Lantern, Argosy.
Yeah, for the Robotnik caravan. Okay, so Rise of the Beast was really good. So what was after that? Rise of the Beast was number 3. Number 2. Okay, so Rise of the Beast and number 2 swap again depending on my mood, and that is 07.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've been with that.
Because 07, it's just it just hit all the right. It just checked so many boxes. It's a great action movie. It's a good summer. It's a good turn your brain off and just watch something that's really eye captivating for a few hours. It's a good popcorn movie. Are there still some cheesy lines in it? Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, it's Transformers. If Transformers is like walking into a milk store and saying, "Where's the cheese?" You know, you're go. No, not that's bad.
That's a weird analogy.
I'm trying to think of something. No, it's like walking into a toy store and asking, "Where's the clothes?" You shouldn't. You should when going into a Transformers movie, you should be knowing what to expect.
Or walking into a sporting goods store. Hey, where's the snacks?
And even then, they'll still be like, "Yeah, here's some." That's actually a bad one too, because now they'll in sporting goods, so they'll throw you to the protein aisle.
Okay, where's the chips in the sporting goods store?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Where's the junk food?
What do you guys got the Twinkies at?
Where's the Velveeta?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a really good movie. I end up watching it at least once a year now. Just because the action's still really good. That opening 10 minutes, man. The opening sequence with the
the socks and Qatar.
Yeah, the Qatar airbase scene. And even back in 07, I was working. I wasn't working on the base just yet. No, I was working on the airbase at that point, and seeing all the airmen react to something like that, and there's just so like, I was 20 when I'm dating myself bad. I was 20 when the 07 movie came out, and I feel towards the 07 movie what a lot of the G1ers do to the 86 movie, essentially. But at the same time, I will still acknowledge its flaws. Like, there are a plethora of writing cliches. There is God knows how many. Hey, let's just throw this scene in, and then we'll forget about it in the next movie.
Like the whole thing with Sam's friend, what's his name? Miles.
Exactly.
Like the whole thing at the lake. That they couldn't cut that from the entire movie and maybe have Sam offer her a ride in the car from school home or something.
Yeah, or just even like the additional scene of him trying to call his friend on the phone. While he's
when Bumblebee takes off.
Yeah, like that every interaction with that character was completely unnecessary.
Or the scene at the police station with the dog pills.
Yeah, and even then, I think they even acknowledged that half that stuff was improvised. I think they just made that scene because all the actors were just having a ball playing that scene. But even then, that doesn't translate well to the. It was one of those scenes that the editors and the actors thought should be included, but ultimately could be cut out. Like, you can cut this movie down by like. Some of those scenes are only cut by minutes. You can cut it down around to like 20 minutes. Just cutting some unnecessary stuff.
Trim the fat.
Yeah, trim the fat. You can shorten some scenes and stuff like that, but it's still it's still a damn good movie. Is it cinematic art? God, no.
Nope. That's entry number 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious what's my number 1. Dun dun dun. But at the same time, there's a reason why this movie is the reason why, like, you still see this movie in everywhere. Like, you will see this movie in $5 bins. You'll see this movie on on recommended lists. Somehow this movie
you see it popping up on FX.
on FX.
Yeah, the TV channel FX.
Yeah. Yeah, you still see it pop up on you'll see this movie pop up more than its sequels on cable television.
Well, because it was groundbreaking, and to be honest, after Beast Wars saved it the first time, I'll be honest, this movie saved the franchise a second time, and I hope include number one, which pretty much everyone unanimously agrees is the best Transformers movie.
Yeah,
Let's this one brings a resurgence.
Yeah, because everybody who was around at that time, I'm mostly going to talk to the towards the older fans on this, but all the older fans can tell you that going into this movie, Transformers was starting to dwindle in stores. But after this movie came out and revitalized the whole franchise, Transformers took up a whole flipping aisle in Walmarts and Toys R Us's.
Yep, and Targets.
And Targets. And we're not talking about like one or two sections. No, they reserved half of an action. And I want to say half of an action figure aisle. I mean, whole one side was nothing but Transformers.
Well, and I remember right around the time that Dark of the Moon came out. Weird place for it to be, but Alco had like half of like 4 or 5 sections, like almost half of that side of the aisle was Transformers, where it was the Deluxes, the Cyberverse, and then Prime stuff.
Yeah. I think was even like at the time, like even my Kroger that I live next to, it doesn't have that big of a quote unquote toy section. It's mostly just like cheap toys to buy something on the fly. Even they had like 3 or 4 pegs dedicated to just Transformers, when it's supposed to be just like one peg per franchise essentially. Like that, but they had 4 pegs of Transformer stuff at the time. That says something when even a tiny store like that is carrying multiple a selection of something. And it deserves the respect for bringing the franchise back into the spotlight as pretty much either as big or even bigger than its OG back when it first launched. And of course, number one is Transformers 1. I mean, if this doesn't get nominated for an award, I got to shoot somebody.
I hopefully, like, I would love to see it get at least an Oscar for best score.
Best original screenplay.
Brian Tyler did amazing, or even Brian Tyree Henry as like best star role.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see this movie definitely pulling a Lego movie back into Oscars, where the Oscars are just going to completely look it over, and then when they do, there's everybody's gonna be like, why? I found out the reason why the Lego movie wasn't nominated for best animated picture was because of the ending.
Oh, the whole little bit of live action bit.
Yeah, that's the sole reason why it wasn't nominated for best animated movie.
Stupid.
Yeah, very stupid. But at the same time, the Academy Awards are very petty, like very, very petty. Oh yeah, I also forgot to, speaking of Academy Awards, out of all this list, the first out of this whole list, the 2007 movie was actually nominated for a few.
Yeah, but then what was it, Age of Extinction last night got a couple, but they were Razzies.
Oh no, like we're talking about like actual like Oscars.
I know. I'm just saying, like we got a couple Oscars for best of something, and then 1 or 2 movies got worst of something.
Oh yeah, let's see.
I think it was Age of Extinction. I can't remember if it was that or last. One of those last movies got a Razzie or 2.
No, it was both of them. Age of Extinction and Age of Extinction and Last Night both got Razzies for just like both terrible movies. Holy shit! Oh, okay. Oh, Now, to be fair, the first movie did actually get nominated for 1 Razzie as well. It got Worst Supporting Actor.
For who?
Jon Voight.
What?
No, it's fair. John Voight has definitely, like, when he's just there for a paycheck, you can clearly tell he's there for a paycheck. And yeah, he's there for a paycheck in 07. That's fair. That's clearly fair. Now it got best sound editing, sound mixing, and best visual effects. It got nominated but didn't win them. Best movie and favorite movie for the Kids' Choice and MTV Movie Awards. Wow, okay. Because to be fair, the 2007 MTV Movie Awards happened before the movie came out, and it got nominated for Best Summer Movie you haven't seen yet, and won it. It won Best Movie the next year. Favorite movie in 08 got nominated but didn't win. In the 2007 La Part International Film Festival, won Best Special Effects. Hollywood Film Festival won Visual Effects Supervisor of the Year. It won that.
I hate to cut you off, but we are running along.
Oh shit! Okay, my bad. But anyway, yeah, it won a lot of awards. If TF1 doesn't win something, I think us as a community need to riot.
Well, it's as much as I like to say that, it might get some picks from the Wild Robot. So
that's my biggest complaint about of it's being released. Wild Robot is getting so much praise, both from fans, critics, and his box office. And then before the week before that was a sequel to a movie that people have been waiting for since the 80s.
Yeah, for 37 years.
Yeah, this movie got Titanfall 2'd, where the release date itself might have killed it.
Well, then let's hope that overseas, because I don't know what theaters haven't showed it. I just know the UK hasn't premiered. Like, that was a stupid decision by Paramount to delay overseas premieres by almost a month. Because that's what's going to kill this movie and make it bomb at the box office themselves. But
I was going to repeat myself earlier. The marketing team behind this movie needs to be fired.
Yeah. But that being said, we both enjoyed this movie. I know Rick says he absolutely loved this movie. We're going to go over some comments quick, and then that'd probably be a good end this. So, we got Daniel Racha. It says, "Oh, you're doing ranking of the Transformers movies for
the one
that should be at the top is 1986." I mean, we kind of already talked about that.
But
Age of Extinction, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
What Transformers Age of Extinction? I'm sorry, it's not good. Age of Extinction is crap. But
it's more watchable than The Last Night.
Yeah. That being said, let's go ahead and wrap this up. We've been going an hour longer than I intended to.
Blame me for going to get dinner and coming back.
Well, Rick has good insight there, so I'm glad to have him on and look forward to having him again as well.
Yeah,
because he's always a positive dude. I like talking with Rick because he's got a lot of good insight and
good vibes,
fairly positive opinions while still airing out any grievances. So, but that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Let us know, when this goes up in video form, what you guys thought of Transformers 1, and give us your rankings.
Go see it. Uh-oh.
We're going to do another stream, possibly at the end of the month or beginning of November, talking about New York Comic Con, whatever that UK convention is called, and 10/25. As well as some recent news from the past couple of weeks. So, anything else to say on that one?
Not really. Just another case of, for those who are watching, please go watch Transformers 1 and support it as best and as legally as you can.
Definitely. Like I said, I'm going to go see it again tomorrow. It's like $10 at my closest theater, so I'm going to go there. Just grab a drink. I don't really need any snacks or anything. So
I almost grabbed my Bumblebee head bucket.
I wanted to, but it's just so expensive. It's something I'll have to do later on if they're still available online.
Same.
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll catch you in the next stream, the next
You guys
couple of weeks.
You guys take it easy.
Bye. And there we